Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon, so a massive shout out, thanks and appreciation to Joseph Pizarro, Samson, Maris, Harry Blade, Mobile Max 777, Neo the One, Lost Cat FE, Rob W, Open Minded, Reese Pound, Dal West Watson, Mike, Muted, Dick Earth Skeptic, Chris Hellman, N.A. Literalist, Maria Neelands, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Rob H, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As the Earth, Nathan Thompson, The Real Gabster, Windrider, Missouri Bear, Henrik86, Liam Nedrick, Erwin Jennisons, Abraham Mohammed, Dave Rakia Gafford, Naibai, Adrian Quintana, Skeptic936, Life is Short, Fireball X, Felix Hung, theflatearthchannel.com, Texas Mike, Edwin Johnson, Kirsten Smith, Alexander Main, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. I'll leave you with the dulcet tones of whoever is in Discord while I set it for today's live show.
Yeah, but it's constantly turning is what they're saying.
Right, but the Earth is a ball constantly turning in their model, and the bucket is turning only against its sides. But if it was a ball, you couldn't do it. You couldn't have a handle on the ball and do the same thing. It would spin off.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
No, it's nonsense.
It only covers one side with the bucket.
And they need a container for that.
Yeah, well, they were trying to say that there's a container. The ball's not on the outside or something. It's not a perfectly level ball that perfectly smooth ball that you're putting water on. It's got deep crevices where the oceans are held in pools.
That bucket example only works at the early school stages when kids are wowed that someone would pour water in a bucket and spin it over their head. It's a form of trickery. You show that to an adult, they're going to say, well, turn it upside down. What happens to that water?
Not just to mention that, I mean, you see the centrifugal forces that's applied to it, that water will fly over. They're practically saying Earth is a container.
Right.
That's simple.
Take the sides off, put the handle on the ball, turn on the big hose, get it all wet with crevices, everything on it. You know what's going to happen. The top part of it, the crevice will fill up, the bottom part won't, the sides won't, and just start spinning it, and everything that was filled up will go flying off too.
Exactly.
It's nonsense. It's nonsense.
Yeah, mass doesn't attract mass. Doesn't matter what you say.
No, it doesn't. I've never seen it. Maybe that's why they went to force space, because they couldn't prove mass doesn't attract mass.
Well, they still can't take a handle that general relativity is pseudo-Riemannian. They say pseudo means actual in physics. And then you show them the definition of it, but you don't understand.
I know that we've heard that on several shows where we say, well, what's the meaning of pseudo? Real? No, look it up. It's not real.
I had one guy 2 days ago, he's like, oh, can you prove to me that general relativity is based on pseudo? I said, okay, but he says, what's pseudo-Riemannian? It's got nothing to do with it. I said, it's the geometry. He says, it's not even geometry. I go show him it's geometry. Then he's like, oh no, but this is not the geometry we use. And I put the formula. No, you don't understand.
It's like John says, when they say you don't understand, they're trying to say you don't understand what I want you to understand.
Now, when they tell me I don't understand, that's when I say, thank you, victory, because then you have nothing.
Wasn't the main concern the definition of the word pseudo, and you shared it with him, then he says you don't understand to that?
Yeah. Well, they try to say in physics, pseudo means something else. No, it doesn't. Pseudo means, you know what I like most about that word pseudo? It's in one of the definitions, it says intentionally deceive.
If physics is such high-minded stuff, why would they use that word instead of some other word?
Because it's not actual.
Because they want to intentionally deceive.
Say that again, Platzoid. Say that again.
Because it's not actual. Physics deals with reality. It's the people who try and change the definitions to suit their narrative.
That's
Not
correct.
actual. So it's an apparent force, not an actual force.
Yeah. I mean, an apparent force is the effect of another force. It's not actually
It's
there.
fictitious.
It's fictitious. It's an illusion.
It's a trick. It's a magic show.
Pseudo.
Welcome to the greatest magic show on Earth. And it is Earth. And it is a ball.
You would
Welcome,
make a good.
everyone.
You'd make a good announcer for a circus. Coming through
It
town.
is a circus.
And Neil goes out there with his top hat.
Ringmaster.
Welcome. Hey, Nathan.
Yeah, ringmaster. That's the word.
Ringmaster Neil here. And on this side, we have ball-tards. No proof for what they claim, but swear they are correct and we are dumb.
You know why a ring of a circus is the size it is?
No clue.
That's the minimum size that a horse can run in a circle.
Really?
You ever been to the circus?
Wow.
They have horses, right? Running around and around. Well, that's about the minimum
Yeah.
you can get it to be.
Interesting.
Sounds like the concept of the small minivan for families.
I'm sure someone will try to buck that.
Ha ha ha! And you came up with that on the spur of the moment.
We need circuses, obviously.
No.
Once people appreciate that they're not on a spinning ball flying through a sky vacuum, some of the people who oppose us are going to need an occupation, right? Wow, circus is well suited to a lot of them.
I remember going to one and there was a freak show. I'm thinking these ballers can go to that one attraction.
That's actually what I meant. I was just being a little bit more gentle.
I took you there, don't worry. Yeah, we live in interesting times.
Say the least.
Well, it's just amazing how many people are afraid to enter a discussion on this topic. I thought the science was settled.
I was reading, I think it was in Chronicles yesterday, how the dial of the sun was set back. What was it, 10 degrees? That was the sign he gave Hezekiah, that he would give him 15 extra years of life.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with that, Ten?
It's been a while, but I think I know what you're talking about. I'd have to go look at it again.
Yeah.
But God's earth and God's sun. He'd do what he wants.
Correct.
Well, Joshua commanded the sun to stop instead of the earth, right? So we use that one.
Yep. Can't get around the scriptures. They're right
And
there.
And in Genesis, God made the earth first before he made the luminaries.
Correct.
So it's real simple if you're a Christian just to see all the little scriptures about the subject.
So, but was water always here?
No, God was always here. Water is created by God, but it's a very interesting.
You know where I'm going with, right?
I think I know where you're going with it. It's a very interesting study because in Genesis, he starts with water, but it never says he created it.
Right. It says his spirit moved on the face of the deep.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, the 6 days of creation are listed in a short version,
Right.
obviously. And then when it goes on to tell the story, it started with water. But obviously, God is self-existent being, and anything that exists comes from him. So anything that exists is made from him. So it's water is not eternal. God is. Yeah, the ballers are far and few lately, huh?
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I want some debating today. I want some fresh meat today.
Fresh meat. Is that how you look at it?
Yeah, I want some fresh meat today. I'm hungry.
Well, I kind of like it when we discuss topics and issues. We get, without the interruption, we get into things, and I, it opens up new ideas for me when everyone's contributing.
Well, I see that Indian kid. That Indian kid is on the after show pretty much all day yesterday. So hopefully he comes back. He's 18. You start getting through to him. Start bringing him to reality.
If he wants.
Correct.
Yeah, I would just like to have a conversation with people who are willing to discuss it and not feel threatened or like, oh, I don't want to go there because this will happen. No, go there. I mean, this is what you've been taught your whole life, and it's up for discussion. And instead of being a troll, which they don't have to be a troll, instead of being rude, they don't have to be rude. And instead of interrupting people who are speaking, they don't have to do that either. They can just have a conversation. But only trolls come in and hijack everything. And it's sad because the real people don't show up as much.
Trolls are real people. What are you on about? Just some dude sat down.
Wait a minute. You can say they're real people. And I know they're real people, but they're not real people.
Yeah, they are.
Not the kind I want to hang around with. I want to hang around with real people.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I must say, I'm having fun being off Twitter for a while, reading the comments still in the chat group from the Glovers. They actually miss me. Can you believe it?
Miss you on Twitter?
They spite for actually reporting me. They're like, no, it's so quiet here without him. And they keep talking about all the demonstrations and stuff, and now they can't get any answers for it.
I had no idea you were a Twitter warrior. Obviously, you've shown your tweets, but it just didn't dawn on me. I mean, I use Twitter to tweet out the show each day, but that's about it.
Yeah, it started like that off with me, but then I got into, and Slice Volcano put me into like a big chat group with him, and like I think there's like six flat earthers of us, and the rest are globers. And the shit these people talk, I can't believe it.
Useful for us though, eh? When you bring it and present it. Earth is a closed system that is open. End quote. Slice Barcane. Wonderful.
Yeah, that's from the same chat.
So is that going to be your aquarium video you're going to do based on that?
Yeah, I'll be taking a fish out of water.
Because we reside in water, right?
Yeah, see, his whole argument, even though he can't explain it correct, is he thinks water is a closed system.
And our arguments about
doesn't
water,
understand.
is it? Our arguments about water, is it?
Nope. Gas and water are two different types of things.
Oh, so he just doesn't understand what we say. Thick.
No, he's stupid.
Just stupid. When we say you can't have gas pressure without a container, he says, here, look at this water. No, you're thick.
Yeah.
Well, he's figured out a way not to lose an argument by changing the whole context of what you were talking about.
It doesn't win you the argument.
And then he gave me his context, and he gave me the context, remember? And it was even worse.
Yeah, he shouted system at you. Like that somehow covered the fact that he's saying Earth is an open closed system comparable to water. No, it isn't.
It doesn't last long. They get you off the subject, then they lose there because you bring them back by showing what they did, which is why you got kicked off Twitter, right?
Got kicked off Twitter?
Yeah,
hold on. Water is water and gas is gas, correct?
Hold on, what'd you get kicked off for? Twitter itself, the platform, or just from some room you were in?
Well, he said that they knocked him out. I don't know exactly what context.
Sorry. No, I got suspended.
For what?
Doesn't know for how long, but totally suspended because I said they were talking about praising Red Rhetoric so much, and I just popped up and said, "Oh, Red retarded," and laughed, and yeah, then that's why I'm suspended.
Okay. I mean, if that's not allowed on Twitter, then that's not allowed on Twitter. It's their rules, right?
Yeah, but you have to physically go. How can I say? You have to go and report someone physically.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't go and report them when they call me moron and idiotic and take my faith on.
That's okay. They're just, they're utilising the playing field to their advantage because they can't win based on an argument. It's pathetic. I appreciate what you're saying. Now, you don't need to stoop to those tactics because you've got a winning argument.
Yeah, they're just childish. Doesn't bother me one bit.
I can't beat you in an argument, I'll silence you. That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah, and like now I said, now that I'm not there, they're regretting it because they got no one to teach them anything.
Oh.
We can't win, so get out.
Whoever that was. Brian, was it?
Oh yeah, I said it. Or they'll threaten to. They can't beat your argument. They'll threaten to slap you down.
Oh right, say you'd be dead on the floor, in pain.
It's sort of like that other guy that was threatening to hit you the other day, Nathan. It's that type of persona.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. He's expressing how they all feel, which is great.
How do they all make that mistake? Don't they know what's coming next? Have they not listened to the Nathan Oakley show?
Maybe not. Been here long enough to know that there's often people who come in that might have had a cursory glance. They might have been watching it like that guy for a week. Just don't know, do you? In the past, it's been when we've been talking about something off topic. So, if it is a newbie that's just happened to have stumbled upon the show and we're talking about Back to the Future, they're going to think, I don't know, I'm just going to go in and ask them how the eclipse works on a flat Earth. And that'll show them.
Well, they're not showing much when they come here, that's for sure.
I like the guy that ran away the other day. So
yeah, that was.
It's like you apparently spent all morning talking about SOHCAHTOA trigonometry to acquire the R value by way of a dip angle measurement with all the people in the after show before the pre-show started. And then he comes and asks me if I know SOHCAHTOA, and I'm like, I vaguely remember from high school. And he's like, that's it then. Okay, at least you almost remember. I'm like, yeah, but what's the point? And he really didn't want to be tied down to what the point he was making. Because he presumably knew that it would die on its arse the moment he mentioned a physical geometric sphere edge formerly known as Earth curve that they can draw a tangent line to when they can't see it. But because they presumably have listened in that instance, he just literally ran away.
Well, after he said that you can get the value of it, then he ran away.
Like real quick,
Yeah,
like
like I
stage
said,
left.
Go on, Ryan.
I was just gonna say I'd been in the after show all morning, and him and like 4 other cronies were just in there just railing on you, how they were gonna come in here and do what's what to you, and ended up just taking off like a bitch.
Yeah, but they talk the talk, and as soon as you invite them to come on, they run away. Same as like Sam Wise yesterday. Telling me no, I'm not gonna say the Afrikaans swear words the whole time. And as soon as I said, fine, be a man, come talk to me. No, I got an exam to write. Then I found out he's a flipping child. I don't understand. There's even children on there. He's got no respect for elders, swearing like crazy. And when they are challenged to come and talk, they run away.
They're fighting for their own.
So they were together all morning. They planned this thing, and they said a couple of things and ran away. That's what happened the other day.
They were also live streaming in there. I don't know what he was doing, but he had live next to his name.
I think that just means they're playing a game or something.
Yeah, usually playing a computer game.
I'm wondering if they recorded something and then he got what they needed and left.
It doesn't matter to me. What's he going to do with it?
Well,
I mean,
maybe they can come and show it to us.
Well, because they could edit it around to make you say something you didn't say.
Maybe.
And there's a win.
But the argument is about having a tangent point to measure to give him R. That's his point. That's what SOHCAHTOA is about, right? It's about the trig. So he's saying, do you know what this is, this acronym? I was like, I still don't. I'm not going to even bother looking it up because what's the point? Am I using trig to claim I've got a geometric physical sphere edge horizon to measure a tangent to? No, I'm not. I don't need it. It's their claim, their use of it, and it falls on its arse the moment you say, well, how are you going to get a tangent point when we're being told we can't see it? Bye-bye. Run away.
Yeah, so argument's over right there. You're right.
Worth trimming out, good. Glad he built it up to that. Because when it actually came down to the brass tacks of him arguing his point, he didn't even want to commit to the point in the first instance. And when I finally tied him down to it, he ran away. Because it got defeated by the Black Swan.
But even when they said you can get the value, what does that mean? Value to what?
Yeah, the horizon they can't see.
Newest...
Hold on, just 1 second, Flat. Sorry, go on, Ryan.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say he backed quite a few times and still just sits there quietly, won't speak.
Yeah, the moment he dropped was the moment he went, "Oh shit, I need a physical tangent point to do this." So half the time they don't realise. Like Simon Dan, right? When he was in the comments and we got it wasn't Neil, it was Brian. Talking about the equatorial mount. And Simon Dan's in the chat comments saying, well, the rotation of the equatorial mount is counteracting the Earth spinning underneath at 15 degrees an hour. Now, I've elaborated slightly on what he said in his chat comment. He's just saying, well, the one counters the 15 degrees drift. Not realising that he's currently under a situation that he's still yet to respond to, where he's claimed you and your reference frames have been ruined. Now, we don't have any. Like, we don't have any requirement for SOHCAHTOA. It's not our claim. But yet they somehow think that because we debunk the claim that we've got an R value, they need to come and say, look, here's how we get it. Not realising that it's exactly the same lines as the argument with the Black Swan and a lack of tangent point that they can't measure because they can't see. But if you haven't made that connection, you just see Al-Biruni in his claim to be measuring our measurement from the top of a mountain, if you see that in isolation, you're going to go, I've got a win here. There you go, there's it. That's how you measure R. Again, not realising that you've got someone like Jem Panda claiming that no one's ever done that. No one's ever claimed that you can measure a physical tangent point at the horizon. You know, these people don't link the two arguments together. You know, they just go, Black Swan's ruined. It's like, yeah, it's going to take you a year to realise the wider implications of what's happened. Same probably goes for Simon Dan. You and your reference frames have been ruined. The people who get it at the moment are scrambling like mad to constantly write, thanks, Bob, for the 15 degrees an hour drift as Earth turns underneath that's ruined, according to Simon Dan. Obviously, they don't add that, but they really want to retain this idea that Bob's proven Earth spin with 15 degrees an hour turn of the Earth underneath anything not attached, until you point that out to them. But they can't quite believe what's happened. They used to be able to just thank Bob for proving Earth spins and move on. And someone like Dan comes along, not realising how these arguments are connected. If he did, he wouldn't be saying, oh, the EQ mount is counteracted by Earth spin. It's like that second reference frame, you idiot. The one you've said ruined. But they don't connect the two arguments together. Same goes to the Black Swan. It'll take ages for people to appreciate what it actually means. The Black Swan destroys the idea we've got a physical Earth curve edge. So it's destroying Earth curve. And their only rebuttal is to say we haven't got Earth curve. That's their rebuttal. Now, like I say, it's going to take them a while for that to sink in. You know, at the time it first came out, they're like, can't believe what's happening. Just denial. It's like, no, you come along and claim that you can get R, the basis of your presupposition, and we just go Black Swan. And they run away! Not say, oh no, the Black Swan's a straw man. What, your Earth being a sphere radius 3959's a straw man? Not our claim, yours. You know, they've got nothing to do. They can't do anything about the Black Swan argument. It is the end of the road for the model. They just didn't realise it 8 months ago, 9 months ago, 10 months ago when it first came out.
Yep, and now the newest angle of trying to attack even me now is you can't have refraction on a flat Earth.
Even though they demonstrate it, claim it, and write up about it in Andrew Thomas Young's explanation of how we don't have a line of sight to something we cannot see on a flat plane. All of his examples are done on a flat plane. All of the demonstrations you'll ever see ever are demonstrated on a flat plane. And as is declared in their rhetoric. But what, it doesn't occur on a flat plane according to some moron in trenches? Nah, idiots.
No. I think I did CGI demonstrations. It's all computer graphics, I'm telling you.
All right. Refraction
Well, didn't
is
they
real.
say we can't have a horizon on a flat plane either?
Yeah, the reason there's two... I'll come back to that, Neil. The reason they say refraction you can't have on a flat surface is because their refraction is 7/6 of the radius. They've got a different type of terrestrial refraction, which isn't refraction. It's nothing to do with light deviating. It's everything to do with bending light at the rate of an R value, which they cannot see to measure. So that's their refraction. When they say refraction, they mean something completely different. As for them saying we wouldn't have a horizon, that's for a very different reason. That's because in their geometric Earth curve mathematics, the only cause of the horizon is the physical Earth curve obstruction, the tangent point. So when you remove that and draw out the same diagram in orthographic view, but with a straight line for the surface and a straight line for the observation between target and observer, seen with you in the frame, side of your own head in sight. Well, when you do that, there is no physical obstruction between you and that line of sight and the target. There's no Earth curve obstruction. So they therefore assume, because their model doesn't have a diffraction point, doesn't have a vanishing point horizon, it's got an Earth curve edge horizon. When you remove that, you've got no horizon anymore. So the complete idiots say, well, we wouldn't have a horizon on a flat Earth. When I straighten out the bent line I think causes the horizon, we don't have one anymore. That's unbelievably stupid. It's because they've taken the effective perspective, called it Earth curve, and when you remove the Earth curve, you don't suddenly reintroduce the perspective that they've hijacked in the model. They just think we don't have a horizon anymore. They're just so stupid.
What is the horizon anyway? What if everything blended in? You know what I'm trying to say?
Horizon is defined as the point where the sky meets the land or sea. Visible location.
No, but I'm saying, but there's a contrast. Say the sky was all one color with the ground? Will we see anything?
Yeah, you're talking about points of convergence. So it doesn't matter if you've got the sea looking the same colour as the sky. You're still going to have
You would
a point.
still see something.
Well, you still have a point of convergence, a diffraction limit based on your aperture, which would be your eyeball if you're just looking out to sea and it all looks the same colour in your example. As I say, they only have no horizon claims from our side, which we don't make, because they have an Earth curve edge causing the horizon, and when you remove it, they don't have a horizon anymore. They don't in their model. In reality, we do have a point where things converge. Sod all to do with a physical Earth curve obstruction that you draw out in side view with the side of your own head and a target not getting smaller as it gets further away from you. If you have a target that stays the same feet and inches value regardless of distance, you can introduce an Earth curve edge as the horizon, drawn in side view as a single point that you draw a tangent line to, but they simultaneously tell us you cannot see, it cannot be measured, and we wouldn't expect to see it. It only exists in the maths. These are all quotes from the globe side.
I think one of the key things was the angular resolution because of the deck, right? You want to go over that?
Well, the closer you are to the deck, the more limited the angle you have is. Therefore, you're going to reduce the diffraction limit significantly as you get closer to the ground because you're limiting the angle to the bottom of the thing you're viewing in the distance. Similar to what we discussed yesterday with Neil with the brick. Take a brick, put it out at a mile. We'll assume that at a mile the brick disappears, becomes too small to see, because against the deck you've got too limited an angle. So therefore your 8-inch brick disappears at your mile distance. Doesn't mean if you build a skyscraper on top of that brick that's disappeared, you wouldn't see it at a mile. You would. But the brick at the bottom's still at the exact same angle, and therefore still can't be seen. Ergo, one brick at the bottom of the building's vanished. Bottom-up obstruction, purely down to angular resolution limits, over the deck at the most limited angle.
But they say Earth curve.
But they have to.
Clearly not.
They say Earth curve, but what they've done to say Earth curve is taken that brick, that 8-inch brick, and kept it 8 inches regardless of the distance, and then put it in side profile. So when you draw the brick, with you on the left-hand side of the page and the brick on the right-hand side of the page, you just draw a line between you and the brick and go, there you go, I can see the brick. Now, it doesn't matter if the line drawn between the two has got 1 mile written on it or 1,000 miles written on it. In that particular type of view, it doesn't matter what the value is, it's still an 8-inch brick at 1,000 miles with a line between you and it. Therefore, you can see it in their side-on orthographic Muppet vision, which removes perspective. So you can call an 8-inch brick an 8-inch brick at any distance, but as it starts to disappear due to angular resolution limits, the point that it goes beyond the diffraction limit of your eyeball, it will vanish. But because they've kept the same overall feet and inches or meters size as they've moved it further away, as it vanishes, they say Earth curve's got in the way.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. They've hijacked perspective. I remember I was talking to a baller once, and I said, yeah, the item is still, let's just take this last one. The item, even if I can't see it, it's still 8 inches. But the problem is perspective. I can't see forever, and things get smaller the further I go away from it. Even though the actual size doesn't change, it looks smaller to me and eventually disappears because I can't see.
Precisely. So if it's actual size, 8-inch brick, does not change with distance, which it does not in the curve maths, they've removed perspective. The effects still occur in reality, things still converge, you can still have an angular resolution limit over the deck, and have things disappear from bottom up. But if you've removed that aspect of angular size and maintained its actual size at any distance, then you can assert that when it disappears from bottom up, it's actually Earth curve getting in the way. And if you don't have a curved surface below it in an orthographic representation, i.e. curve maths, the straight line that would be underneath it, as per this picture on screen, it doesn't matter what you write on the straight line between target and observer. The house, in this example, is a 20-foot house. And if I write on the single line rather than the angular representation of the house, 1,000 miles, this orthographic view is still accurate. The man's still 6 foot, the house is still 20 foot. Doesn't matter that there's 1,000 miles written on this line. If I write 1,000 miles on this line, or 1,000,000 miles on this line, the house is still accurately represented at 20 foot. But the angle of the house, the angular size, is disappeared completely at 1,000 miles. You can't see it anymore. Well, on this diagram, there's just a straight line between you and the house, a straight line, single straight line between you and the target. The target's depicted as 20 foot, you're depicted as 6. It's 1,000,000 miles between the two. You should see it, right? And where's the horizon? There's nothing in the way. Yeah, because they've removed all aspects of perspective. No angular size, actual size only. Therefore, Earth curve obstruction gets in the way. Yeah, that's how they've performed the magic trick. Remove perspective, call it Earth curve. Simple as that.
But then they just seem to ignore the days that it changes the so-called Earth curve.
Yeah, the horizon isn't a physical fixed location, geometric or otherwise, capable of blocking things in the distance. It's a variable, non-physical position. So they claim that's Earth curve edge. Boats are going over it. I love saying that. Boats are going over your edge, are they, fundy globe believers? Got boats going over the edge? No. We've got perspective, you idiots.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
the black swan is so devastating, because it's got to be physical, because the Earth is curved. So there's got to be this horizon, which is really another word for where the Earth curve starts for them. And at 1.22 miles, at a 1 foot observer height, is where it got to start there. It can't be any further than 1.22 miles. On a foggy day, maybe you can't see up to 1.22 miles, but it cannot be any further from a 1 foot observer height if you have a globe with a radius of 3959. And when you see the horizon or Earth curve beyond 1.22 miles from an observer height of 1 foot, then you realize their model is wrong. We don't live on a ball, and it's just perspective.
But this is where I like where Owen said it's a paradox. How did they get the geometric horizon if they say it's a refracted horizon? How did they get the refracted horizon if they don't have the geometric horizon?
You don't. Exactly. It's a paradox. At the point that you cannot, like the guy yesterday, well, I use trig, I draw a line to the physical geometric sphere edge horizon, and then I derive the R value based on the dip angle measurement and the triangle beneath it that I can get all of the calculations for it, but only if I've got a straight line tangent to a physical Earth curve edge. And if you haven't got a physical Earth curve edge for a tangent to be drawn to, then you cannot measure it. We haven't got a physical Earth curve edge. We haven't got an Earth curve. The Earth isn't curved. The Earth is not a sphere. Earth is obviously and observably flat.
That's why I'm laughing so much with the main survey and them. They're trying to get rid of me at every opportunity I talk, even on YouTube. It's like he tries to ignore me he doesn't never answer me just because I'm attacking him on their fundamentals on setting up horizontal. They don't get setting up the way they do is assuming their sphere.
Yeah, again, we covered this yesterday. As soon as you point out that they're assuming a sphere with a datum, they just say, no, that's not begging the question. What, to assume that you're pointing to a particular point on a spherical surface? So you drop a plumb, it goes straight down, and yet you think it's pointing at an angle towards the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth based on your datum, but that's not making any assumptions. Yeah, it is. It's assuming you're pointing towards the centre of a sphere shape that you'll then measure flat.
And don't forget that datum is supposed to be based on an ellipsoid. What shape is an ellipsoid now?
A flattened squash sphere.
Interesting.
Yeah, they certainly know how to beg the question.
Well, they better change their CGI pictures.
I'm actually starting to see cinematic students make CGI better than NASA. So they better get up to date.
don't know if that's strictly true. So, again, this is kudos to Dilly Gill for exposing this in the way he has. NASA are on the cutting edge of cinematography. They're way ahead of everyone else. Now, they play their cards very close to their chest. In other words, what you see in modern cinematography, NASA were doing 30 years ago. And they show it you in a very low resolution way and a very boring way. They don't overplay their hand. They don't do anything too exciting. They leave that to the suspension of disbelief in the cinema, as opposed to the crapovision and the downplayed tricks that they can do with their visual effects, which are definitely beyond your average cinematographer, beyond Hollywood. So as I say, I would say NASA are on the cutting edge of cinematography. They've got to be ahead of the cinematography to fake it better than you would perceive when you've been told how it can be faked with the level of cinematography that's at the movies. So like with Gravity, when they show you how it's done with the ceilings, well, NASA have been doing that for years before that, and they've moved on.
Makes sense. But they still get caught out all the time.
Indeed.
But you probably will get caught out if you're making lies 100 times a day.
Do you remember them exposing how Kubrick is actually genuinely linked to NASA? Do you know what that connection is?
Yep.
So he filmed a scene in a movie not a lot of people are familiar with. It's a great movie, Barry Lyndon, and there's a scene in it with very, very, well, there's lots of scenes with very, very low light. So it's filmed in candlelight, not under studio lighting. And to get the shots on a normal camera would have been impossible. So he approached NASA to get their lenses so he could film Barry Lyndon. So, in other words, he had to approach them to acquire their technology to be able to film at the quality he required for his film, and he couldn't acquire that with professional equipment. They had it, the pro equipment didn't. In other words, they were ahead of the curve.
And this is what I was explaining to Brian, I think it was yesterday, where he's saying, how do you know the government just is keeping technology from us? It's very simple, it's easy.
Well, they are, but there's a difference between, if you went back to, say, the 80s, maybe not, maybe the 90s, and started to look at how they used green screen technology at NASA and exposed it, would you look at that and say the general public are going to understand how this is faked when they're definitely, utilising stuff that's more advanced than, say, Jurassic Park or whatever else was using post-production CGI at the time? That's right. It's clearly started working.
Sorry, it's just, yeah, busy. But I'm here.
I'm just saying, do you think your average Joe, if you actually exposed how they did it back in the day, would, with the information, do any different to what the people who argue against it now would do?
No, I don't think so. I think the trick is still the same. They're just exactly like what we do with the housekeeping concerns, just up your game a bit. Just,
exactly. The technology might move on, but ultimately the way the trick works is always going to be the same. So their technology moves on, and they're ahead of the average Joe filmmaker, even with the most budget that they can have. Well, why? Well, because NASA have got a bigger budget, they've got more money to do it. So in terms of the technology, that was how we started this. I lost my train of thought for a second when you disappeared. Saying they're keeping technology from us. Well, yeah, you could say that back then they were hiding the advanced lens technology from a professional or even domestic customer, and that statement would be true. They're hiding advanced technology, but does that technology better humanity? Is it a flying car? Well, no, in this instance, it's just a lens that can enable you to see in really low light conditions, Well, that's an advanced technology of the time, at least. And they were technically holding it back from professional consumers.
Yeah, well, if you're going to have the upper hand, you're always going to have the power.
Yeah, you need to stay ahead of the game, and that is true in technological terms. But most people, when you say, well, they're hiding advanced technology from us, will think of either something nefarious or something alien. And, you know, it's neither, really. You know, advanced technology in this particular example is a lens, a very specific type of lens, which was acquired from the person on the cutting edge. Who's that? Well, NASA. Of cinematography, which is what they are on the cutting edge of. They're certainly not on the cutting edge of space travel. And what do they do? Well, they film stuff, don't they? That's what they actually do, isn't it?
Yeah, what you just said now reminded me of an article I stuck in Master B a few days ago. I think it was a week ago, about scientists have invented a new type of laser light that doesn't get affected by refraction. It's all got to do with space bending time.
Oh, right.
But it doesn't get affected by refraction, apparently. So I said, imagine someone actually gets their hands on one of these lasers and does their demonstration of a few kilometers, and that Globus can't say, but it's bending around curve.
They're going to have a trouble to argue against that, but who knows where that'll go. I better start the live show.
It's 9:01.
I was going to say, I better start the live show. Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by 10th Man, Neil, Paul, Flatsoid, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. Welcome, one and all.
Good morning.
Well,
Zoltan greets you.
Morning.
Good morning. An actual hello from Discord as well to round off a nice introduction. Excellent stuff. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
None whatsoever.
Well, all I've seen is measurements of an optical curve, and that's definitely not actual, so no.
Optical curvage? What's that?
Perspective.
Oh. Perspective is optical curvage?
No,
Really?
perspective is perspective. That's why it's called perspective. Let's not even go
Right.
there.
Good morning.
I'm pretty sure nobody's seen spherical geometrical horizons ever,
No, their own sides.
It's always flat.
No, their
except
own
on
side.
a really, really small scale.
Their own side.
You
tell
can
us
look at
exactly-
a sphere and see that it has an edge, but that's as far as it goes.
So their own side tell us exactly that. We cannot see the geometric horizon.
Because it's not there.
Can I say something about Flatsoid's video? And I saw it the other day. I've actually been wondering this for a while, and I wonder if he just proved what I was been thinking. You know, we always do the perspective, and we assume that it rises to eye level. But what if it really doesn't? What if it doesn't really rise to eye level? What if it does kind of drop down? And Flatsoid's video seems to would indicate that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it depends on the angle, though.
Well, it does, but what's your point?
Because it converges.
Hold on.
Well, even if it is going to drop down, is that going to make it a geometrical horizon?
No. That was what
exactly.
I was going to say.
No,
exactly.
I'm not implying that at all. I'm just wondering if that's just what's happening with your eyes.
Well, there's still the line of sight limit, you know? There's still the blur up at the end of sight. And if you go up, you might see further, but that blur up's still going to happen. So you're effectively still going to run into this apparent wall that's going to be your end line of sight. No matter how high up you go.
You're still going to hit the diffraction limit.
Could I hear Paul's question again, please?
Hey, Brian. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah, it's just I've always wondered if you know we always draw perspective, the horizon rising to eye level, but I've often wondered if it doesn't. You know, what if it really doesn't? And it has nothing to do with curvature. So I wonder if Flatsoid's video might be an indicator that it doesn't rise up to eye level. It actually drops or something.
It does.
Well, no, it's not. If you were on a cliff 100 foot above the ocean, you're looking across the ocean, then you're technically 100 foot above the horizon.
Exactly.
So, but it's just because it stretches.
I just need 10th man to just get a gap so he can say, no, the dip is absolutely utilizable when you're measuring stars. 10th, are you there? I know you're desperately probably trying to get this in terms of the dip angle.
I am just catching up. What do you want?
Third time's a charm. Paul, can you just repeat your question and let 10th man answer? Thank you.
Okay. I've often wondered that, you know, we always draw perspective as the horizon rising to eye level. But I always begin to wonder if it doesn't, you know, and Flatsoid's video would be an indicator of that. The way things drop, even the horizon would technically drop as you go out. So I just wonder if that's a proof. So go ahead, 10th man, if you understand.
Well, if I'm thinking with the cues Nathan asking me to go on is with the sextant, when they do navigation, the right angle instrument there, they put it on the horizon and immediately you have a zenith above you because of the right angle of 90 degrees. And if you're on the sailboat and you're 10 foot above the water, you are 10 foot above that horizon line truly. So you have to go to your calculations and minus 10 feet when you do your final calculations. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, thank God. So that would be you above the deck. And what is the horizon? Well, it's the point where the deck, which is now 10 feet below you, meets the sky in an apparent location. Well, does that dip? Yeah, it does. Does it change with altitude? Yeah, it does. That's what they have utilised to claim they can measure an R value with the dip to the horizon. Hello?
Can I finish?
That makes sense.
Go ahead, Brian.
Thanks, Nathan. If you're on an airplane and you're 5.5 or 6 miles above the water, let's say, or the land, then you're 5.5, 6 miles above the horizon. But because of your altitude, your ability to see, because the earth is flat, it just stretches out underneath you. So it appears, and that was the original statement, was that the horizon always appears to rise to eye level. But flat earthers started getting lazy and saying the horizon always rises to eye level. And then ball earthers are showing them a dip angle. And they're going, well, I don't know, maybe it's refraction. It's not. It's because it only appears to rise to eye level. How could the land and water does not rise up with you just because you go above it?
Correct.
And
Yeah.
to do just for
It does.
It's spot on. Carry on, Brian.
Well, rising up will increase your sight
Hold on,
limit.
Arwin. Everyone,
not-
can you just get off him? He's trying to finish his statement. Go ahead, Brian.
Sorry.
Thank you, Nathan. Flatsoid's video is the same as my video. It's about parallel. Flat side made a parallel with the surface he was using. So his lens made a parallel line with the surface he's using. So that's the reason why it shows the optical drop. That's why you get that. That's exactly why you get that effect. Ballers don't understand that. I've even, as I said, when I spent an hour and 45 minutes on the phone to Rumpus, he could not understand why I kept on talking about parallel. He kept on saying, use a clinometer. He just doesn't know what they don't know what we're talking about. That's the problem. But it's because of making a parallel. So when Flatside moved his cheese grater back, the hole that matched in the cheese grater that matched the lens, his lens of his camera, that was still the exact same height as his camera. It just appeared that it wasn't. That's all it is. Thank you. Thanks, Nathan.
So then you throw in atmospheric conditions into that, and then there you go, right? You pretty much have, it can drop further because of the atmosphere refracting the horizon, or your apparent position of the horizon, right?
Yes, and there's the only other thing to add to that Brian kind of touched on was that you're widening the angle. So you go 5 miles in the air or whatever, you've widened the angle. So you've decreased the point that things will disappear because of a limited angle close to the deck, because you're higher above the deck. So you've got a wider angle to the horizon, which would force it back. Well, that in terms of how it appears would make it appear to rise to eye level. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't a dip. It doesn't mean you haven't still got to, when you're doing the accurate measurements with an astrolabe, minus off the height that you are above the deck, because that's what you're measuring to. So, this all makes sense, but none of those effects that we've just detailed are taken into consideration in an Earth curve calculation. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, the blur up at the end of sight. Sorry to break in. The blur up as the picture. The blur up at the end of sight, it will always be there. Now, if you're really high up, that blur up might be a little bit further away in relation to down to Earth, because you have less amount of thick air to look through, causing that blur up to be further away, but still going to be there. So you're never going to see the unlimited point of the horizon, because that's always going to be capped by the end of sight, caused by the refraction, by the blur up. So there's always going to be a slight dip. But effectively, if that wasn't there, the horizon would always be at eye level indeed.
But this
So glad
that's what
Owen
I
can't
used the
see
word
that.
atmosphere.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. So Owen's got a visual representation of this in orthographic view. So the way they present the world is the side of your eyeball. So you're in the shot, in other words. But this shows how the field of view would narrow. It's obviously crude because it's an orthographic view trying to represent perspective and the narrowing of the field of view towards the diffraction point, where Arwin has previously described it as the optical slant. Now, Arwin was way ahead of everyone with this. It's got to be hats off to him. He got this before everybody. So much so that he could translate it in a way that you're seeing on screen now into an orthographic representation, which is incredibly difficult to do. When you see things in reality, you don't see the side of your own head. You don't see a side-on representation of the world. You never see your own eyeball. But that's how they present the world to remove perspective, and that's how Armin depicted it 3 years,
Right.
even 4 years ago.
But although technically this is not a two-scale side-on view, like
you don't have to disclaim that.
This is only a side-on view description of the experience for the observer. So it's kind of a description of what it's like from a third-person view. But it's very hard, it can't be literal. You can't literally represent that. You can only try to describe it.
That's why I gave you props, because you were doing this while we were still trying to wrap our head around the fact that they'd hijacked perspective. So when you were putting this up on screen in the first instance, we were arguing within the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculator, having not quite realised yet that they'd hijacked perspective. Yet you were detailing essentially a perspective view inside profile, which, like I say, it's commendable, nothing else.
Thank you.
Yeah, Owen, I just got one question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is that eyeball actual?
No, here's a picture of reality. Where's the eyeball? Oh, it's not there. Oh, the sun's not on the right-hand side of the picture and us on the left. No, the horizon's not a single representative point in a side profile orthographic view. No, that's not how we see the world. We see the world with perspective. these trees here are bigger than these trees here. Isn't that a shock? You know, if you're going to ignore the fact that this is getting smaller as it gets further away out to these mountains in the distance to the point where you can't even make out a tree anymore, then you've just essentially hijacked perspective, which is all they've done. Call it Earth curve.
By the way, that picture, it's really nice to look at that photograph and then lay it next to my eyeball on a stick picture, because there's clouds in there as well. It's like a good comparison to compare that specific picture you have.
It's so good. I think you should disclaim that it's not to scale, just in case people got confused. Let's move on.
Sorry?
You said you disclaimed that it was not to scale, and I laughed. It's not like you need to disclaim that, but you did anyway. But we'll move on. Any evidence of axial rotation? We've got one housekeeping question done with 16 minutes into the show.
Axial rotation. Oh dear.
No.
Well, I'm not jumping 460 meters away from me, so obviously not.
Yeah, we got a case of infinite ruined reference frames here.
Bummer. Who ruined them?
You know who.
I don't know, just tell me.
The most opinionated glober ever.
You just don't understand.
Ski Man Dan.
Yeah, it's Simon Dan. He ruined our reference frames and then realized that he still believed in them.
What? We got reference frames? What?
Well, you probably meant our conception of their reference frames, which they are so past because they got to have infinite reference frames, and it's much more convoluted that way. But yeah, we don't have reference frames as flat earthers.
Well, even if he debunked reference frames, how can he do any calculations without reference frames if he debunked reference frames?
Just believe in it, man.
Can't do anything.
Foolishly mistake us debunking the claim that Earth should turn underneath at 15 degrees now to cause drift. He's heard that and only heard the last bit. There should be drift. And he's gone, they're claiming, flat earthers are claiming, there should be drift. I'm going to debunk that. They use reference frames to claim that the Earth turns underneath at 15 degrees now. These flat earthers do. So I'll show them how there's no object leaving a reference frame that's turning underneath and there's no drift. You and your reference frames are ruined. Hello, Simon Dan Clown Show. We don't actually claim the Earth is turning or should be turning underneath at 15 degrees an hour, but you do. What a complete idiot. Debunking their own claim.
I'd just like to say, sorry Nathan, go on.
Debunk their own claim. They're supposed to have Earth turning underneath 15 degrees now, and they're telling us how it doesn't happen, thinking that we're claiming it should. They've lost track of their own nonsense. Yet we're not the one making the claim that we should turn underneath at 15 degrees an hour when we point out that we should turn underneath at 15 degrees an hour. That's saying we should turn underneath at 15 degrees an hour, and we don't. That doesn't mean you come along and say, they're saying we should turn underneath at 15 degrees an hour. No, we're pointing out your claim to you, not actually claiming it. But these people are so stupid they lose track of what they're claiming and think that they've got to debunk our claim that we have 15 degrees an hour drift as a spinning Earth turns underneath. That's not our claim. But Simon Dan's just stupid, mentally retarded. Thinks he needs to debunk our claim of drift that we don't have. We don't have Earth turning underneath at 15 degrees an hour, globeheads. You do. But it just doesn't happen. We don't see anything drifting away because we're turning underneath. So what, debunk that? Yeah, go ahead. From now on, we'll congratulate you like we congratulate Simon Dan. Kudos, Dan. Yeah, that's right, we don't see any drift. Earth isn't deviating as a second reference frame at 15 degrees an hour as we turn underneath stuff. No, that isn't happening, just like Dan says. No drift. Reference frame's ruined. Yeah, there'll be a global reference frame turning underneath stuff not attached at 15 degrees an hour, and that doesn't happen. It's not our claim when we're saying it should happen. It doesn't happen, but would if the Earth was spinning. So you need to show it happening, and it isn't. It's not that you need to debunk the claim that it should happen, because that's not our claim. That's what's happened.
But according to Netflix, Bob Nodell proved that the Earth is turning with the gyroscope.
Exactly. So now everyone's well aware then that they've got a claim that Earth turns underneath at 15 degrees an hour. So it's well established, thanks to Netflix, that Earth's supposed to turn underneath at 15 degrees an hour. That's a second reference frame turning underneath. Stuff not attached. Well, it would drift away. That's what drift is. Drone goes up, you turn underneath it, and oh my God, it's drifting away from me because I'm turning underneath at 15 degrees an hour. Said nobody ever. Stuff's not drifting away. We're not turning underneath anything. There isn't a second non-inertial spinning reference frame of a globe Earth turning underneath stuff not attached to cause footballs to drift through goalposts, or snipers to have to account for the Earth turning underneath their bullet when it leaves the gun. These claims are absurd. These claims of a second reference frame, Simon Dan says, is ruined when he shows his example with no drift that they claim is happening on a spinning Earth at 15 degrees an hour. As Bob has apparently made everyone well aware of, you're supposed to have stuff drifting away. But we don't. The Earth's not turning underneath anything at 15 degrees an hour. We're not turning underneath anything. The Earth is not turning. There is no drift. 15 degrees an hour, my ass. You and your reference frames are ruined.
He still believes in it, though. Don't forget about that part.
I like the fact that he scored an own goal.
He scored several. He came into the chat the other day when Brian was talking about the equatorial mount and compensating 15 degrees one way with the mount for the turn of the Earth claim to be moving underneath. And Dan's in the chat telling us our one cancels the other, not realising that he's then claiming second reference frame Earth turning underneath, 15 degrees an hour drift. That's what he's then claiming, having simultaneously told us you and your reference frames are ruined. Dan's still yet to address this. I'm going to trim this bit out. Because Simon Dan the Clown Show has done absolutely nothing to address his egregious error. You and your reference frames are ruined only to come into a public debate and tell us how Earth's supposed to turn underneath and it needs compensating for with an EQ mount because we're turning underneath at 15 degrees an hour in a second reference frame that he says is ruined. You fucked up big time, Dan.
Now that them and their reference frames are ruined, how are they going to explain a sunrise?
Just
Well,
don't
Trump
Then
should
they
misrepresent
represent-
it.
They won't. They'll just say it's irrelevant. Remember?
Yeah, just to bring clarity to that as well. Exactly. Why does the sun come up and go down each day according to a fundamentalist religious zealot with a globe belief? Well, it's because we're claimed to turn underneath at 15 degrees an hour. Same reason we're supposed to be compensating for sniper shots and balls are going through goals because Earth's turning underneath them. It's the same exact thing. Now, these fundies don't realise when they're making a Coriolis claim of Earth turning underneath at 15 degrees an hour, but they'll come and talk to us about sunrises and sunsets, and when we point out that Earth is not turning underneath anything at 15 degrees an hour, for us to see it drift away, that simply doesn't happen. Some people, the idiots, think that we're then claiming Earth should turn underneath. No, we're not. We're debunking it by pointing out we don't see things drift away at 15 degrees an hour. Like your sun is supposed to be moving because we're turning under it at 15 degrees an hour. Yeah, that would cause drift. Everything else leaving the reference frame that's spinning would have a Coriolis effect precisely as claimed. But we don't see anything drift away. Drones don't drift away from you 1,000 miles an hour on the equator. They don't push up the upstick and let it hover and then go, oh my God, I'm turning underneath it. It's going away from me because I'm spinning away from it on my turning Earth underneath at 15 degrees an hour, underneath that hovering drone. Wow, it's 1,000 miles an hour away now. No, it doesn't work, doesn't happen. We don't see drift. Earth's not turning. Simple.
Well, you can't bring up the sun when
might.
you're talking about a helicopter or a drone.
They might want to remember that the next time they want to come ask us why is the sunlight shining on clouds? But we're going to ask you, how did the sun get there exactly? how did that happen?
Irrelevant.
No, it's not. That's the best part. It's not.
Like a lot of
Detrimental
things.
to their claim.
Well, they seem to
Very
think if
relevant.
you're arguing about the helicopter or the drone, you can't bring up the sun.
Chocolate, also, they say it's the bottom of the clouds, right?
Yeah.
Bottom of clouds, what?
That was the claim. Well, we know we're spinning and the Earth is a sphere because how does the sunlight hit the bottom of the clouds? And we say, well, thank you very much. So you're committing that there's Coriolis Earth-based then, right? Well, then it's got to happen.
That's irrelevant.
Well, it's got to happen under a plane, a drone, everything. If it's doing it under the sun, it's got to do it under everything else. If your hypothesis is correct, if what you're saying is true, then the drone goes up, the same thing should happen, but it doesn't. So you're wrong.
Yeah, they really screwed themselves up this time.
Yep.
Quick shout out.
But you wouldn't accept.
Sorry, just quick shout out to that flat fellow sending a cool sticker. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but you wouldn't expect to see the balloon drift away.
Yeah, you would if the globe was spinning and we had 15 degrees an hour drift as we turned underneath it, as is claimed to be the case. It's claimed Earth turns underneath a hovering drone or helicopter at 15 degrees an hour. That's what they claim. We just don't see it. Now, just in case anyone's wondering, that doesn't mean we claim we should see Earth turning underneath stuff and you need to debunk that like it's our claim, like Simon Dan did. That would make you stupid.
Well, why?
No. Come in and debunk it. Yeah. Come in and try to debunk that.
I mean, feel free to debunk my reference frames I use to claim Earth turns underneath at 15 degrees an hour to cause drift. Feel free to debunk that like the clown idiot Simon Dan. Feel free to be as stupid as Simon Dan.
Yeah. That's the route we should go now. Yeah. Come in to debunk these reference frames. Sure.
I'm just waiting for one of the ballers to say 15 degrees an hour is a straw man. Where's that?
Listen, if Earth
In a
is
way,
spinning,
Ed
it's
has
turning
been
under
saying
everything,
that.
correct?
Say again, Neil.
If Earth is turning, then it's turning under everything, okay? And we'd see deviation in everything, but we don't. End the story.
Exactly.
Oh, we
any
don't
more?
see the drift that Dan believes in? Oh.
So none of you have jumped into a wall lately, or a tree hit you while you're walking across the road, or
No, you'd have to leave the reference frame. You were doing well till you said walking. You mean no one's jumped up and found that the Earth turned underneath them at 15 degrees an hour? No one ever experienced that ever.
Hold on, you got to decelerate 1,000 miles an hour.
But I'm sure you've been a child at once and skipping and jumping across the road. I mean, you would think apparently because you're spinning 460 meters under you, a tree or something's going to hit you by then.
But guys, some ballers have said that they have to constantly correct their steering wheel for Coriolis effect, or they'll run off the road. So
yeah, they don't understand Coriolis effect when they say stupid, silly nonsense like that. Shout out to Michael Jones for the super chat. He says, ballers in chat go very quiet when asked for evidence that they live on a ball in a vacuum. Question mark. Oh, was that a question? Ballers in chat go very quiet when asked for evidence they live on a ball in a vacuum. I don't know why you've got the question mark. That's more of a statement. But thank you very much for the super chat.
Maybe he's wondering why they go all quiet.
That's how I took it.
So we're almost 30 minutes into the show and we're still only yet to cover 2 housekeeping questions. Any evidence of
let's go, Nathan.
Yeah, it's a good show. I'm enjoying myself. I especially like ribbing Simon Dan for his utter stupidity, given that his entire gambit is to take apart flat earthers based on their stupid claims. Yet he's been the most stupid glober, or one of the top 3 most stupid globers to date, by debunking a claim only his side make. That is the most stupid thing you could do in this arena. I'm going to put him at the top. I mean, I'm pretty sure I did before, and I'm going to continue on that vein in saying that Simon Dan is the most stupid glober to ever debate this subject. Coming in and telling us how you've got counteraction of an EQ mount with Earth turning underneath second reference frame, when he's declared to me on a public platform, Twitter, that, quote, you and your reference frames have been ruined after showing an example with no drift occurring. It's a top 3, definitely. I would say probably the most stupid thing we've experienced so far in the entire Flat Earth debate series. Would anyone disagree with that? That this is the most stupid thing any globe has done to debunk only a claim the globe side make?
Yes, I agree. I think that Simon Dan
I would
actually
agree.
made a genuine mistake. This is not a machination. He just thought he could do a little wizardry, and he didn't have the oversight. So he literally did not know what the fuck he was doing. And by the way, I think you should call him Strawman Dan from now on, because he's about as smart as Scarecrow too, and he's constantly strawmanning. So
I just think he was trying to, what can I say? Have an answer out of ignorance. He is too stupid to know what he's talking about, and he wants to sound clever for all his troll followers.
No, they don't think things through. They just shoot things out of their mouth, and then they get trapped.
But Neil,
Serves 'em
who's
right.
more dumb? Who's more dumb? Dan that made this claim, or his followers that believe the claim?
Yes.
Well, he's got
It's,
them under a spell.
It was doomed
His
from the
follower-
beginning. It was doomed from the beginning because he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't.
Boom, boom.
But what Nathan said is this not the stupidest thing that any bowler has come in and done? And I have to totally agree. He's come in and disproved his own reference frames.
Yeah, I agree.
Claiming that they were Nathan's reference frames. That is unbelievably stupid.
Yeah, that's the dumbest you can get.
I
And
agree.
then
I mean,
they followed up by arguing. Sorry, Nathan.
I was just nodding along. It's me that postulated it in the first place. But yeah, this to me is the stupidest thing a baller has ever done. I mean, those guys have an award,
And he
right?
added to it.
Those
Sorry,
guys have
everyone's talking at the same time.
dumb FUCK of the Year award for the stupid things that a flat earther has done, usually on topic in the argument. But has there ever been a case where a flat earther has literally come along and debunked a claim that only flat earthers make? Has that ever even occurred? Has there ever been anything more stupid from our side? Given that Dan is the one covering stupid things our side does, the fact that he is now the poster child for the most stupid error on the globe side is epic.
Well, I think the thing about it is that our claims, a lot of them are not concrete into the ground. A lot of flat earth stuff is like we might disagree with each other on different topics. But with his stuff, it is 100% concrete. They're supposed to have a rotating earth, and that's the reason why they have sunrise and sunsets. And we're supposed to see the Coriolis effect from that rotating earth, and it's supposed to be a 15-degree an hour drift. And he came in and he debunked the whole lot because he was seen as your claim.
Exactly. It's very well established that Earth is supposed to have Coriolis effect. That's the effect of you rotating underneath stuff not attached. That's what Coriolis effect is. Easily establishable in globe Earth rhetoric. There is supposed to be Coriolis effect. You turning underneath at 15 degrees an hour. Dan comes along and smashes the whole thing into obliteration. Just destroys the whole lot. You and your reference frames are ruined. Couldn't be a more devastating statement to his own side's claim.
Maybe Dan should study the globe a little bit more. Learn his rhetoric a little bit better.
Have we done axial rotation enough now? Should we move on to distance to the sun? Any evidence thereof?
No.
Nope.
I'd like to know what it is first.
Distance, Neil.
He asks every day. It's fair enough.
Nobody's curious of what the darn thing is?
Yeah, very, very, Neil, which is why I don't object. I'd love to know what it is. Absolutely.
I do know one thing, it does move.
Apparently.
Yeah, it follows me.
No, I think you're just hallucinating. It doesn't specifically follow you.
Yeah, you're not that special, Neil.
Every time I look, there it is.
Okie dokie then. Moving on. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Would that be like the sun's cousin or something?
I suppose so, yeah.
Okay, so we are cousins from rocks, and the sun has a cousin called a molten iron core.
I didn't see where you're going. Boom, boom! Shout out to Michelle Thaler.
Shower retracted.
Talking of Michelle Thaler, any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Never.
Is making mathematical equations science?
No.
Then no.
About scientific evidence of gravity?
No evidence for their gravity.
We don't have gravity.
There's evidence for what sorry.
You and your gravity are ruined.
Right.
Well, there was a guy on 24/7 this morning claiming the downward acceleration proves gravity.
But their gravity is saying it's not downward acceleration, it's Earth accelerating up.
Hold on. Downward acceleration of what?
Of anything that falls to the ground?
Like a helium balloon.
That's the
Took the words out of my mouth.
That was funny. Always a setup. You know what's coming.
Any evidence you can have gas
We
pressure?
do have.
Go on, Neil. Was it Neil? No, Brian. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, Nathan, thank you. We do have evidence of what causes weight. Plenty evidence of that.
Weight of what? Helium balloon?
Well, if it has any weight, we know what causes it.
And that's gravity how?
Hold on. We know what causes it. What causes it?
The density of matter within the volume, confines of its volume.
Well, relative to its medium. You just missed off that bit at the end.
Yeah, I'm just talking about its basic structure. That's all.
And this relative density is actually scientifically validated. If any ballers are wondering, unlike your gravity, which is just based on concepts and religion-based assertions.
Any evidence you can have gas pressure without a container?
Can volume exist without containment?
No.
Then that's a no.
I would love a demonstration if one can be found.
Valved Earth.
Anybody in Discord want to have a go at that one?
Or any of them.
Oh yeah, any of the housekeeping questions. Feel free to pipe up.
And you can
Is
talk
there
to any of us.
a
Don't
closed
be scared.
container in Earth?
Say again?
Is there a closed container that is not getting the gas letting out in Earth? Like, is there a dome
There must be
that
containment,
is
yes.
protecting this?
Yeah, there must be containment.
Okay, so
Yes, there
Okay.
must be containment.
so
Oh my god, oh my god. Yes, you've asked a question, now I'm trying to answer it. Like the last time, right, you're going to piss me off real fast if I get 3 words out and you keep going, yeah, through the top of me. I'll try again. Try and button it when I'm talking, right? It's simple. Just listen. Yes, there must be containment. Without the container, there can be no pressure. If this area on screen for my audience was 10 to the minus 17 torr, then the gas, which is a high pressure, would want to fill it as it expands in all directions.
so can we agree on a fact that nothing will go out, nothing will come in? Can we agree on that fact, Nathan? Oh, that's it.
Can we agree on what? Whether or not anything will go out or come in of a closed container? That's what closed means.
Can we agree on?
Closed to matter.
Can
That's
we
what it
agree on?
means.
Can we agree on a fact that nothing will go out, something like pressure, and nothing will come in? Can we agree on that fact?
Sorry, did you not just listen to what I just said? I'll say it again slower, maybe with a bit more irritated tone. That is what defines a closed system.
Really good. So, how is there asteroid impacts happening?
How is what, sorry?
Asteroid impacts, meteoroids and asteroid impacts, how are those happening?
I don't know.
You don't know.
No. What are you saying is happening with asteroids? You saying they're coming from a sky vacuum?
Yes.
Why?
Space,
You
not
can't.
sky.
Well, that's violation of natural law. The sky is not a vacuum. It's not an empty space that gas could fill, because the gas would have filled it. So no, your rocks aren't coming from a sky vacuum, without question, because your sky vacuum's a violation of natural law.
Didn't he just say, excuse me, didn't you just say, can we agree? Wait a minute, you said to Nathan, at least can we agree on something? It's a closed, and what is closed? And he described it. And then you went to your presupposition as if it's not closed.
Yep.
Do you mind explaining that?
Exactly.
It is not closed because...
No, it is. Are you dense? It is closed. We have gas pressure. Not if it's not closed. No, what, in your fundy belief of a sky vacuum? No, that violates natural law. Third time I've said it. It is, most definitely. Okay. We have containment.
Okay, but we agreed for the statement that nothing is coming down.
No, we did not agree nothing's coming down. No, we didn't agree that.
How?
No, we did not agree that.
Yes, I wrote a statement on my book as you saying it. Nothing is going out, nothing is coming in. You agreed for that fact. And
that's nothing going down? Is that what I said, nothing's going down? No, I didn't say nothing's going down, as you put words in my mouth that I did not say. Nothing leaving or entering in terms of... Shut up!
Nathan,
Shut up!
Come on, Nathan. You
stop talking. I'm talking. For the love of God. Can you stop talking through me?
My dear.
Stop talking through me. Stop it.
BT, you're becoming an asshole, BT.
Yeah, you're becoming an asshole. I'm talking.
Down. You said leaving or coming in. You never said down till now.
Yeah, you're just putting words in my mouth that I did not say. What defines a closed system? Yeah, closed to matter.
I said nothing is going out and nothing is coming down.
Yes, that's the definition of a closed system.
If you want, you can check the live stream.
Yeah, so that's the definition of a closed system. Oh my God!
You can check your live stream. What I said.
Is this guy saying that going out or coming in? That's what you said. Not down. You added in down later.
Is this guy saying gas is not matter?
He's saying asteroids. He thinks have come from a sky vacuum. Therefore, they must be unimpeded. How could they go through a barrier if I assume that there's a barrier and a sky vacuum beyond it? No, that's not how the sky behaves. The sky is not a vacuum. We must have containment. But you're saying, well, I still assume that rocks come in from a sky vacuum. No, mate.
You said you don't know. You said you don't know if asteroids coming down or not.
I know. Yeah, but I know they're not coming from a sky vacuum.
Then is someone throwing it from an aeroplane?
I don't know. Are you deaf?
Then you don't know anything about a closed container, and you cannot talk about anything.
This has absolutely no relation to the nature of containment we must have to have gas pressure. Your fundy faith and belief in where these rocks come from has nothing to do with the absolute fact that to have the gas pressure we breathe, we must have containment. Do I know where what are claimed to be rocks falling from the sky come from? No, I don't claim to. You claim they come from a sky vacuum. So you claim they come from an area that doesn't exist. I make no claim about these rocks.
I agreed with you. Yes, and I agreed with you. There's a closed containment. Then I'm asking you, where are those asteroids coming from?
What, for the third time? I don't know.
That's closed.
I don't know. Does that mean the sky is a vacuum? No. Does that mean that the antecedent for gas pressure is containment no longer? No. No, it's still an antecedent for the gas pressure we breathe. Makes no difference what you're going to assume about the location the rocks, claimed to be rocks, originated from. Doesn't make any difference to the fact we have containment.
Oh, you don't know. That's the answer.
Nathan, can I have a second with this guy? He just made a major blunder. He said he agreed with you it was a closed container. Then he's asking you where these rocks come from. Well, if he agrees with you it's a closed container, then within the closed container is where the rocks come from. But you didn't make that claim. He did.
No, Tin Man. He said, Tin Man.
These rocks from the sky.
Brian and
I'd like him to
Brian
support
and whoever it is in Discord. Hold on, Silent Zero and Brian. Just
Can
let
I
me respond after I've shouted out the super chat.
I want.
Just Silent Zero, please. After I've shouted out the super chat. Shout out to Dalwest Watson. Throwing an asteroid from a plane, question mark, rolling around the floor, laughing face. Thank you for the super chat. Now, no one else, just the dude who's talking. Go ahead, my friend. Maybe he needs a summary. This doesn't in any way defy the antecedent-consequent relationship that is gas pressure and containment. We must have containment, your original gambit.
Oh, Nathan, you're getting confused between gas pressure and atmospheric pressure.
Sorry, gas pressure and...
You're getting confused between them.
Oh, really? Would you like to tell me the difference? Whoever is talking through me, Chocolate, please. I've just literally 2 seconds ago asked you not to rumpus him. Please. Sorry, you said...
I will give you a yes.
I'm summarising your point.
So,
I'm summarising your point. Yes. So you're saying there's a difference between gas pressure and atmospheric pressure? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, do you want to tell us the difference? Feel free.
So first off, what a pressure is? It is a force exerted by a substance per unit area on another substance. So the pressure of gas is a force that the gas exerts on the walls of the of its container. Atmospheric pressure varies with height, just as water pressure varies in depth. So it works somewhat like a water pressure.
Owen, can you mute, please?
Get my point?
Tapping on your mic. So you're saying there's a difference between how gas behaves and how your fundy belief of gas in violation of law behaves. And you're defining it with this atmo, that means air, sphere, which is a shape. So this air sphere law says gas doesn't fill the availability of volume.
I didn't catch that.
Does your fundy religitard air sphere law, that's atmo, air, sphere, a shape which gases do not inherently have, do you believe that air takes the shape of a sphere as per your air sphere law? Atmo, air, sphere, shape, law.
That does.
No. Let me explain. Air, gas, has no inherent shape. It takes the shape of its container. It doesn't naturally form a sphere shape. This air sphere law is an oxymoron. Air isn't sphere shaped.
Do you understand that?
I did, but...
Oh, right. So, you understand gas behaviour? Gas expands to fill the volume. It takes the shape of its container.
Yes.
So it's not taking the shape of a sphere, just because you've asserted it with your fundamentalist religious air sphere law that begs the question that sphere-shaped air exists without containment? No, that's nonsense, my friend. Air takes the shape of its container.
a containment doesn't mean there is a container that exists.
Oh, containment doesn't mean a container? Really? That sounds like a really stupid thing to say.
I mean,
What do you think is containing the gas then?
Right, okay. Hold on, Chocolate. Hold on. Can you show me contained air without a container, please? Go ahead.
The best example is Earth.
Oh, so you're going to point to your fundamentalist religious zealot belief that air takes the shape of a sphere and you've got a sky vacuum? You think that begging the question's a proof of your fundamentalist religious belief? No, my friend. Pointing at your fundy belief isn't proof of your fundy belief.
Okay, what about plasma confinement?
Oh, do you want to describe how you achieve that?
I'm just gonna Google it because I don't know.
Maybe while you Google it, I could tell you that there's going to be a container involved in this, isn't there?
There's
that word confinement kind of gives it away.
There's a level in Earth's atmosphere which says stratosphere.
No, my friend,
have 90%
stop pointing to your fundy. Stop! You said there was an example. Now, I asked if that example had a container in it. You are yet to answer. Please don't ignore my responses and rebuttals to your claims. You said there's an example. Now, I'm asking if that example's got a container. I already know it's got a container. You don't need to Google it. Maybe just say, I didn't really know what I was talking about and now I need to go and Google it after I've claimed it. I, however, do know that your example will require a container. So, the question, can you have gas pressure without a container? Yeah, it can be developed in a force field. In a container. Correct?
Correct.
Oh, so you didn't realise that had a container around it when you asserted it to be gas pressure without a container. No, that's definitely got a container involved, though, hasn't it? So, can you show gas pressure without a container, given that you've asserted containment isn't a container? Can you show that, please?
Yes. Because there is something, there is a level in our atmosphere that is called a stratosphere.
Yeah, I've already told you not to point at your fundy faith. You asserting that we've got a sky vacuum in violation of natural law is merely you pointing at your fundamentalist religious zealot belief that the sky is a vacuum without containment. You're trying to prove that, not point at it and assert it as your belief. It's the second time I've told you. Don't point at your fundy faith to prove your fundy faith.
Sky is not a vacuum. Space is a vacuum. Did you get my point, Nathan?
No, space is not a vacuum. Because if it was a space for gas to fill, gas would fill it and we'd have no gas.
There is an atmospheric mass which is protecting it from go out. That's why when you climb the mountain, you have less amount of molecules and pressure.
Oh, really? Like you just asserted. Can you demonstrate this without a container?
When you climb up a mountain...
Can you demonstrate it without a container?
Containment isn't equal to...
You're not answering me, you slimy little sod. Are you not answering me, you slimy little sod? Can you demonstrate this without a container? Yes or no?
No.
So it's not a demonstration of gas pressure without a container. So when you assert this effect of a container... proves the sky doesn't need one, that would make you a complete idiot then. Because this isn't an example that doesn't require containment, you idiot. So asserting that the sky is this example would be an assertion that the sky needs containment then. Because this example takes place in a container.
Nathan, we are living...
This example does not take place without containment. So utilising this example to assert the sky has no assignment... To use this example to assert the sky has no containment is nonsense because the example does require containment.
Nathan, the demonstration that you're talking about, we are living in that demonstration, the best example.
And that example's got a container, correct?
Pressure.
And that example,
me,
and that example has got a container.
Don't interrupt me. I contribute.
How do I like it's my show? The example you say is an example that's analogous to Earth has a container!
Do not interrupt me.
I'll do what I like! Your example has a container!
You can't compare anything. You can't compare.
Yeah, you're comparing it to an example you say is analogous to Earth that has a container. I've said it 6 times, I've yelled it at you, you're still not acknowledging it, you dick. Your example has a container. You're saying that example is analogous to Earth. It's got a container, mate. So it must have a container then, as per your analogous example, with a container.
This is avoided example, shall we?
Your example's got a container. You're saying your example's analogous to Earth, therefore Earth must have a container. As per your example, with a container. Do you need it a 5th time?
Containment.
Don't babble on about what containment is. Your example has a container, and you're saying it's analogous to Earth. Ergo, as per your example, we must have the container in your example then. Are you dumb? Are you thick? Are you stupid? Are you slow? Your example had a container. You're saying it's analogous to Earth. Therefore, must have containment, my friend.
Then show me this dome.
Don't ask me to show you anything. The sky is definitely not a vacuum for rocks to come from. We must have containment. Even your own example had a container. Don't talk through me, scummy fundy. Even your own example had a container now, didn't it?
You have a power.
You're supposed to say yes, you scummy fundy that can't acknowledge a word I say. Yeah, your example had a container now, didn't it?
Avoid that example, let's say.
You don't seem to be acknowledging me. There's a short pause and then a change of subject. You're a scummy, poor loser. Loser. Your example had a container, loser.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So, therefore, if analogous to Earth, as per your example, Earth must also have a container then, as per your example.
And show me a container.
Don't ask me to show you anything. You've given me an example with one, you bonehead. Oh, I'll just give your example back to you. It had a container.
Oh, yeah, container.
Yeah, you gave me an example with one, you bonehead. You think you're going to talk through me the whole time? Now you actually got to the point that you realise your own example had a container.
I'm not talking about the example because I've lost in.
Well, why did you bring it up then? So you brought up an example that was supposed to prove Earth didn't need containment. You demonstrated it or claimed it when I asked you how you could have gas pressure without containment. And your own example had containment. You ignored that. Lots of short pauses. Very frustrating and irritating with you talking through me the whole time. Not conceding and acknowledging that your own example had a container.
Skip that example, right?
Oh, forget the example you gave me? Should I forget your stupid example that you're refusing to concede would be an example you claim is analogous to an Earth that doesn't require containment, and yet your own bloody example's got containment, yet now we should ignore it? No, mate. I'd like you to acknowledge that even your own example's got containment, because that's my point you want to move away from. My point being made with your example, you stupid idiot.
If I want, I can bring that experiment.
Not an experiment. How dare you, stupid idiot? You have no clue what science is. Don't call it an experiment.
If I want, I can bring that experiment in that debate. If I don't want, I can also take it out. So let's take it out of the debate and let's move on with that debate.
No, I'm using it now, you stupid dick. That's not how this works. You've claimed an example, and I'm now using your example against you. So what, because I've taken hold of your stupid shitty example with a container that absolutely doesn't demonstrate the sky could possibly be a vacuum in violation of natural law, you want me to drop your example with a container in it? My point? No. I'll throw in your face that your example that you think proves Earth doesn't require containment and that the sky could be a vacuum in violation of natural law has a container, my friend, proving my point that without the container, There can't be any pressure. So we can't have a sky vacuum without containment, my friend. I'm using your example. I'm not going to forget it because you tell me to or talk through me. No. Every example, you fundy muter, will have containment because you are incapable of demonstrating one without containment. Incorrect assertions like, to say things are contained doesn't mean they have a container, makes you stupid, an imbecile. Yeah, containment means container. And without one, we wouldn't have any gas pressure, mate.
Stop it.
Suck my balls! Your example's got a container in it. As per Earth, we must be contained. Then demand that I tell you what the sky is or where bloody rocks come from is absurd. Without the container, we wouldn't have any gas to breathe. Therefore, the sky is not a vacuum. You think it is, and I've annihilated that. Your only response is to ask me what the dome is. So you concede we must have containment then, as per your example.
That example, when my cells saying that example is wrong.
Good. So, your example you thought proved we didn't need containment to have gas pressure was wrong. Stupid. An idiotic thing to claim, especially when I've then immediately used it to prove my point that without the container we'd have no gas to breathe. If the sky was a vacuum, the gas we breathe would fill the space. That we must have a container of some description, answering your original question that you came in and asked.
Oh. Fish in an ocean, Nathan. Or sea, that matter.
What are you muttering about now?
Have you seen an ocean? Have you seen an ocean? Not a sea.
Sorry.
Talking about the water.
Water is not gas. Do you not understand? Did you not have a high school education and understand the different states? Do you not understand that? Are you retarded? Did you not have a high school education?
I did.
So you understand that water isn't gas then? You moron. You idiot. You imbecile.
Nathan, can you have water pressure without containment? Can you have water pressure without containment?
Yes.
Oh, can you show us? Maybe roll out another example you'll tell us later isn't a worthy example that you'll then later decry because we use it against you.
The Marina Trench, which is 6 miles down, if you go that much down, you'll just be crushed. That's how pressure there is.
And that's an example of gas pressure without a container, is it? That proves the sky is a vacuum, does it? No, that doesn't prove the sky is a vacuum, you complete imbecile. You have no idea what we're arguing about here. We're talking about gas pressure. And you can't have gas pressure without a container.
No,
can you have water pressure without a container? Is the ocean contained?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
He asked if the
Can you have water pressure without containment?
Yes.
You can have water pressure without containment? How?
I said before, Marina Trench has a pressure of thousands. So when you go there, you die. You just simply die. You can't go to Marina Trench without any submarine or without any.
What is a trench?
It's a container.
What is a trench?
It's going to babble on incessantly through you, Paul. He's describing a container and saying there's pressure in it when you're asking for an example without one. The guy's a complete idiot. With that,
I know. I said, yeah.
Go on, Paul. Go on. You have the last word.
I was just saying, yeah, the ocean is contained by the land. A trench is something that's in the land that's containing the water.
Indeed. Yeah, absolutely, Paul. With that, I'll say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat. I'm sure there is a few super chats I didn't shout out, so I should really do that, shouldn't I? Let's go back and see if there's any that I didn't shout out. Bear with me a second. Massive shout out of thanks and appreciation. Wow, they were ages ago. To Retro Bill. You are no match for this genius, Nathan. back to the globe for us all. Thank you very much indeed, Retro Bill. Really appreciate the support. Was there another one as well? Let's see if I can scroll up. No, I've run out of chat. I'm sorry if I missed your super chat. Once again, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Stream, stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that.
And what happens when you put water in a vacuum? What happens to it? You think the water pressure is there anymore?
No, but he'll say it's an open container.
Yeah, but that's why, Paul. That's why I like asking them instead of just gas pressure containment. Show me volume without containment.
Yeah, that's true.
Because everything in life needs volume. It doesn't matter what it is; it needs volume, and volume is containment. Contained.
I don't think he understands what antecedent means.
I'm not getting any sound from Discord today, I think. Can you guys in Discord hear me?
Yes, Nathan.
Loud and clear.
Oh, sorry. He's flashing, but
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, he doesn't understand the antecedent relationship, that's for sure.
Does he know what volume is?
How loud to make it?
I'm confused as to why he would think rocks would be able to come into Earth, but the air that we're breathing wouldn't leave.
Yeah, well, Chocolate, I could have played his game and said, what if it's the dome? But we don't make assertions on that. I mean, all we are doing is just backing up. It cannot be a vacuum. Who's saying it's a dome? It's just saying that it cannot be a vacuum.
You can say there's a dome. Hold on.
I tackle the rocks question.
Just let me say.
I'll say dome.
I don't mind anybody saying dome, right? Now, I don't particularly like the phrase dome because it's got a few connotations attached to it. So I personally don't like that word. I would prefer containment. But it's the same bloody thing. If you want to call it a dome, more power to you.
Yeah, but like I said, when they come and say, oh, you're saying space is fake, it's not that I'm saying space is fake. I'm saying that this idea of space as a vacuum is fake. There's a difference.
Space the way they taught us is fake.
Exactly.
Well said.
You can.
Outer space, the sky vacuum, is fake.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, because they're trying to tell us to be blind. Can't you see the planets? Yeah, we can see it, but we're not making claims on what it is.
And can anybody verify
What they are.
asteroids or these things that supposedly come from
That was my
space?
question, Neil. Exactly. That's the first thing I would have wanted them to do. Tell me, what about these things?
Because
the rocks
there
come
are
from the
these
air.
Mars cam footage that was taken when this asteroid hit the Earth in 2013. I just did research yesterday on these asteroids, and I got this information. It's called the Chelyabinsk. This is the name of that asteroid that appeared in 2015 and hit the city of Southwest Russia. And we have the car cam footage of that rocket falling into the atmosphere, and thousands of people are injured.
Do you know?
And by flying gas blown by the shock wave. And this time I also have the image of that asteroid, and I'm putting that in the live chat. If you want to look out, you can look
Where
at
is the
that.
image from?
Yes.
Where is the images from?
We all know
What's
about
this
this,
Oscar?
buddy.
Is that a satellite?
I've got a better question.
Is that a satellite? Hang on one second, sorry, Paul.
Jesus.
How do you validate the original or the origin of the asteroid?
Talking. Can I just hear Paul? He said he's got a question. Can he just ask it without everyone talking through him?
Okay, how did you validate the origin of that asteroid? You saw something fall from the sky and hit the ground. How did you validate its origin?
Origin?
Where it came from?
Yes, because a blue color sky can't just create rocks and throw at you. Nature won't do that.
Sorry, say that again.
So what I'm saying is that a blue colored sky can't create rock by itself and throw it at people. What happens?
Sorry,
it should be the curved space-time.
Hold on,
should do
everyone
that.
shut up. There's two things. Number one, that's not what Paul asked.
You're saying the sky can't do something. That's not what I asked. I'm not saying what the sky can or cannot do. I'm asking, how did you validate where that rock that you discovered that came through the sky, where it came from?
Where it come from? Because you have no other possibility. So what you have is a super bolide, right? That's all you have. There's only one possibility that we have experienced.
What are the dimensions of this rock?
Answering him.
Dimensions?
You're not answering him.
Yeah.
His question, like me asking you if the example had containment, short pause, different answer to a question that's not been asked. How did you figure out where that rock came from? Not, there's no other possibility. Just tell us how you figured out where it came from. Just tell us that.
Car cam footage.
So it came from the sky. So when you say there's no possibility for nature to create things coming from the sky to hit people, that's precisely what's on the webcam footage you're claiming is shown. So that is precisely what's shown then, something coming from the sky. That was going to be my second point. You said nature can't do that, yet you've got dash cam footage of nature doing it, debunking your own claim that nature can't do that. The only bit that we haven't got yet is the origin story, where you say it came from.
Came from the vacuum of space.
No, that's not possible. That's a natural law violation. We went through that on the live show. You need containment, and then you gave us examples of exactly that. Do you not remember giving us an example? Do you not remember while you start talking through it? Because it's at the point that you got
not having a container does not mean not having containment.
Stop talking through me. So at the point you failed to concede this point on the live show, even your own example proved beyond all certitude that you'd need containment. So definitely not coming from a sky vacuum.
So
container does not.
That's why I first. Hang on. So that's why I asked you if what we are living on is a curved, is a closed container or not. There's a very reason why I asked you we are living on a closed container or not. And if we are not, I want to know where is that asteroid coming from and where is it hitting and how is it hitting. If it's coming with a huge velocity though. It's not
so
with a 30 or 40 miles per hour speed. It's coming with 1,000 of miles per speed. So it should be coming from really far and really with a huge amount of velocity with it. So if we are in a closed container, the asteroid should hit the container and should just go off in the direction or should have been just exploded, but did not.
Okay.
Right? So
no, not right.
This
Can
is my
you shut
doubt,
up
by the
now?
way. It's not
No,
my question. This
not
is my
right.
doubt.
Can you now shut up? No, not if we have containment, as you asserted in your question. That's where I interrupted you last time. No, we must have containment. It's an antecedent for the gas pressure. The necessary antecedent to have... Why are you now talking through me?
Containment and container are not equal. They are not equal terms.
Why are you talking through me? Why is this guy talking?
They're not...
Stupid dick. Now I'm going to try and respond to this guy. I let him have his piece. He said his entire piece. Now I'm going to bloody respond to him. No, my friend. Not if there's containment. There must be containment. It's an antecedent. As given in your own example. Not if. Not if the sky is a vacuum. It isn't. We must have containment. Now you're saying if there's containment for the gas pressure, and I assume that beyond that containment, there's a sky vacuum that the rock's still coming from, it would smash into it. Well, why would you assume that there's something beyond a barrier that we must have for the gas we have? And if there's a physical barrier, why would you assume that there's things coming from beyond a barrier which is closed to matter? That's the definition of closed system, as I already defined immediately when you asked this question the first time. So not if it's closed, it must be closed. You even gave me an example of exactly that. So there's no assertion that you're going to have the rock coming from your fundamentalist religious belief sky vacuum, suddenly still needing containment but smashing into it. That's absurd.
We have evidence of that asteroid. We have fragments of that asteroid. We have what is that asteroid made of, and this is not my question, Nathan. That is my doubt.
Hold on, you didn't listen to what I said. You didn't listen to what I said.
Of what?
You didn't listen to what I said.
Closed containment that is happening.
Hold on, you didn't listen to what I said. I gave you found a rock, and I gave you the fact that you saw this thing fly through the sky. I gave you both of those. So everything you're saying, I'm validating. The rock, going through the sky, the footage. But you still haven't determined the origin.
Well, in how world works, it came from the space. Listen to me. When
it's just a story.
When I say there's an asteroid coming, it also very thing that there is no closed containment. If there is containment, of course, but it may or may not be closed, right?
No, not right, you dumb fuck. It's the fourth time I've told you. That is the definition of closed system. So not might be a bit open for a bit of matter, you dumb fuck. What part of this aren't you getting? It's getting really irritating.
You said, and you said, I don't know where's the asteroid coming from. I accepted it.
Yeah, but you're saying it comes from space, you dumb shit. Somewhere that stands in violation of natural law.
I accepted when you don't know the right answer.
And I accept that you think you know the right answer and it stands in violation of natural law. You just are so scummy and slippery that you refuse to accept this, even though you've given examples that require containment and then asserted that that example that apparently is demonstrating we don't need containment is analogous to an Earth. Therefore, Earth has no containment and an open space for rocks to come from. A vacuum. No, mate, still a violation of natural law. We still require containment.
Okay.
A fantasy solution to an unknown is not better than not knowing. That's your problem.
The answer to Paul's question is the origin is unicorn farts. There is.
We don't know the origin is wrong. Let's just conclude it. Or Paul, feel free to make a conclusory statement for this chap.
You always have to ask me when I'm walked away from the mute button. You can know you can see something happening that would be a phenomenon, something happening, falling from the sky, but you've got to know all the pieces from all the way back to its origin point to say what came from this location. If you can't do that, all you see is something falling from the sky. That's all you have. You can't say where it's coming from. You don't know.
Yes, appealing to your fundamentalist religious belief isn't going to be a great enough just so story that it's going to wash on us. Oh, well, I assume it came from a sky vacuum. Well, we've debunked that. Stands in violation of natural law. You need containment, as per your example.
Yeah, he has no shame. He goes right to the freaking sky vacuum without any shame.
Yep, just point straight at his fundy belief. I believe that's a vacuum. Well, that's an example of gas pressure without a container. No, we're asking you to prove that that's possible, not for you to point at it and claim that that's so.
Yeah, but he's after pulling the wool over everyone's eyes. When Paul came in and started asking him about the dash cam and where it was the origin of it, he was already after stating something before any dash cam of a car, something that sounded like a satellite. And I was trying to ask him that. Where are these images of this supposed asteroid coming into Earth from? Because he said something like that. I don't know what he said, but I couldn't hear it because everyone kept coming in.
He said dash cams.
No, before that, he talked about something else. And when he was asked on it,
here's an demonstration that I found on the internet. If you wanna, I think this is more relatable. Take a fan, turn it on. Now stand in front of the fan.
No. I'm asking you where. No, never mind that. I'm asking you, where was this asteroid seen coming into Earth? Who saw it? What saw it?
Well, when I say it's coming from space, you guys will disagree with me.
You
So even if I
earlier,
talk
when I
for
asked you,
15 minutes without breathing, you still say me that there is a closed
you're answering
container.
something I didn't ask you. You said earlier something. You said it was seen coming into Earth. What saw it coming into Earth? You said you looked at it and researched it yesterday.
Yes, I did some research. Yes. So
That's not what he's
what I'm
asking.
saying again?
Look, he's asking you how it was observed to enter into Earth from space. That's a simple question. That's your claim. He's asking you how have you got to that claim. It's a fairly simple question.
I've got into a claim believing that there is an closed containment, and you people will again scream at me and talk for again 15 minutes, and I don't want to waste my time talking about it.
You said you don't know, and I agree with you about the asteroid, and you named out something, and then you refused to speak about it afterwards.
Did you say satellite?
The word satellite. He said a name that I think was the name of a satellite.
When Nathan said, I don't know, I accepted it and believed that he will be experimenting about it someday. So that's why I kept quiet.
I asked you a question
because
about this asteroid, which is your claim.
Agreed that
he's
he
answering
don't
a
know,
different
and
question.
I'm happy with it.
So what he's decided to do is answer a completely unrelated question that he's not been asked. You've been asked, what satellite? That's what you're asked.
What satellite seen this supposed asteroid?
No, not a satellite. It's a car cam. It's a
No, hang on. Before you said car cam, we can go back on the audio. Before you said car cam, you spoke about something else. Because a car cam could be just something falling onto a car from a high building. Before you said about car cam, you spoke about something else, and I tried to ask you about it, and you went away in a different direction. And after I said the word satellite, you wouldn't speak about it. You kept on talking about car cam. You said something else before car cam, and then you said and we also have a car cam. Car cam was an also.
Yeah. So what I was saying is that people in southwest of Russia, they saw a light appeared. Then then also in the car cam after the 16 years of the after 16 hours of the appearance of the light, then this asteroid that they named called Chelyabinsk that hit the a city in the southwest of Russia. So that's I was talking about the light.
When
that
did this happen?
Appeared.
When did this happen?
2013. In 2013.
2013. And you said that there was video of it coming into Earth.
A video of the car cam.
Before car cam. You talked about something before car cam. You actually named out something.
Yeah, he said somebody saw a light in the sky.
No, it was before that, Nathan. He's adding that in.
Russia.
He said something else. He actually named out a name of an object.
You're going to have to wait for the show and try to decipher it because he's not going there.
No, hold him to it. Never leave him off.
I don't even think he knows.
He said it, Neil, earlier. He's trying not to say it again.
Okay, well, I can't remember. I couldn't pick it out when he did say it the first time. So.
I kind of got a question for this guy, but I'm not going to lie.
Go ahead.
Let's go in a different direction.
Paul, just one sec. You're just a bit too late. Go ahead, whoever that was in Discord.
Yeah, wouldn't we be getting rained constantly with asteroids and rocks and whatnot if we are hurtling through space or whatever? Like you saw one in 2013, and that's it.
I'll just try once more to summarise. This claim has absolutely no bearing on the antecedent consequent relationship that gas pressure has with the gas we're breathing and its requirement for containment. So there's no need to suddenly discussing the aspects of space which are debunked by the fact we have gas pressure here. These two are not related. Now, we've tried desperately to get the guy to somehow relate it to it, and he can't.
Fair enough.
Yes, and the next
on every
asteroid
aspect.
hit happened in 2019 near the Caribbean Sea. There's the next. I mean, it's the like all
So we're
asteroids
going
I'm
right to the
talking
next
about.
asteroid, huh?
Yeah,
The
okay,
minor.
Everything Nathan said.
Let me go in a different direction with him because he's going to keep spouting asteroids. What are asteroids and
No,
meteorites? What are those things?
I was answering this this guy's question. The merits of this guy's question.
Right, yeah.
Why we are not having
That's
the
a 5-year span, though. Why? Why is it? Why is it? I'm sorry, I didn't get it. Why?
He's just claiming another asteroid in 2019. Yeah, man, we almost got hit
Right,
by
but that's
an
what I'm saying.
asteroid
2013 and
20 years ago.
2019, that's what, 6-year difference?
Yes.
So we should be
what's wrong
seeing
with
these things. We should be seeing these things constantly, is what I'm saying. The claim is that we're surrounded with rocks in space or whatever. We're an open system. We should be getting pummeled
Space
with
is
rocks
empty,
constantly,
dude.
right?
Space
If
is
we're an
empty.
open
Space
system,
is
then
not-
nobody's alive.
That's not true, bro. That's not true. That's not what they say.
So let me get this straight. The guy that I just spoke to in
all-
Discord, right? I just said this. Neil, do you want to just repeat what you just said, please? Obviously, me saying
It's
it.
an open system, then nobody is alive here. We're dead. There's no gas pressure to breathe.
Right.
So if this is a scenario where we can have these rocks come from the sky vacuum, then we'd all be dead in that scenario.
Unless the
we are
meteor's
not.
coming
That's
in.
why.
Fair enough. That's true. I agree.
Unless he hasn't ruled out one important aspect. We already know that there must be containment. So how did he rule out that meteorite or whatever it is coming outside of the container into the container? What if it's inside the container already?
But isn't that the...
Yeah.
It's inside the container. What's making it happen? Is Truman throwing is Truman throwing a rock out of an airplane? Is that what you think is happening? Is someone throwing a rock
why
out
are
of
you
an airplane?
offering up a straw man? Nobody other than you has said that the rocks come from someone throwing out of a bloody airplane. Is that what you're saying? Stop talking through me. Stop talking through me, please. Can you stop talking through me and laughing through me? No, that's called a straw man. Nobody's offered that up as a claim except you, so that you can debunk it. And by tagging on, is that what you're saying? No, you fucking clown. That's absolutely not what we're saying, you dumb fuck shithead. No, that's not what anybody's saying except you dumb shithead. Don't straw man us with some shit we don't say. Do you understand me, you dumb fuck? You want to laugh at that, you dumb fuck? No, nobody's saying it, you dumb shithead. Who did you hear saying it, shithead? Nobody.
Me.
Yeah, you're saying that, you stupid shithead. So is that what we're saying? No, fucktard. It's what you're saying, you stupid moron. So what, are you laughing at your own fuck-wittery? Is that what you were laughing at? Because you're the one saying it, you stupid moron. Not us. Do you hear me?
We're laughing.
Yeah, we're not saying that.
Let me say.
We're not
all the global
we're not saying it's
all
come
the
out of a dumb
global-
fuck airplane while you constantly talk through me with your stupid assertion we haven't made. You're just irritating. You're a wanker who misrepresents what we say. No, for the third fucking time in a row, none of us are saying this rock's thrown out of a fucking airplane. This rock's thrown out... Sorry, are you going to acknowledge that? You asked a question, is that what you are saying? No, you stupid idiot. No, that is not what we are saying. Are you stupid? Are you hearing voices?
No.
So why would you ask if that's what we're saying when nobody said it? Are you hearing voices?
That was a joke.
As a joke? It wasn't funny. It's got me really irritated. The only one who laughed was you.
Not for flat earthers.
So don't let this descend
Go
into an
with-
ad
yeah, I
hominem
think
attack, my friend. You've made a stupid assertion. You've asked me a question. Are we saying that? No, nobody's saying that a rock's been thrown from an aeroplane. The logical conclusion is that it's come from within a closed system. Why? Well, because we must be in a closed system or we wouldn't have gas to breathe. So it must have come from within. That's the only logical conclusion you can draw. Now, you haven't got any explanation for its origin, other than your fundy belief in a sky vacuum, which we've destroyed. You've even given us an example that required containment. You didn't concede that either. Was that funny to you, when you gave us an example that destroyed your own argument? Did you laugh then? You didn't concede it, there was lots of short pauses, and then you changing the subject. Like now. Short pause, maybe a subject change. You gave me an example with containment.
Closed containment. So how big is this closed containment?
So you gave me an example that required containment, proving beyond doubt that we must have containment. It's an antecedent for the gas pressure we breathe. So we must be contained. So therefore we're contained. And only logical conclusion you can make from that, based on your questions about these claimed to be rocks from a sky vacuum, which they're definitely not, we've debunked that, is that they've come from within the system. There's no other conclusion you can draw.
I have found this on the internet. No, listen, don't interrupt me this time. I have found this on the internet. There is no container needed for you to do that. So what the experiment is that? Turn on a fan.
on the internet.
Hold on, let's hear it. Hold on, QE. Let's hear it. Go ahead. Stop laughing.
Turn on a fan.
Stop. Hold on. Let me just get control of my panel, and I will let you make the example. Let him make the example. Please don't laugh through him.
Okay. So turn on a fan. Now stand in front of the fan. Do you sense the air blowing at your face? That's gas pushing against the skin of your face, and simple empirical evidence precisely confirm to the definition of gas pressure. No container needed. As of thermodynamics, it has absolutely nothing, literally nothing to do with the second law of thermodynamics.
Is
this fan in the room?
Hold on. Hold on. So is this example taking place in a scenario that already has gas pressure? Because our question is about how you'd have gas pressure in the first instance. So in this example, where did you get the gas pressure from in the first place without a container?
From the fan.
No. The fan's blowing existing gas pressure. Do you not appreciate that the fan isn't the cause of all gas on Earth? No, mate. The gas was already there before you plugged the fan in. And I'm asking, given our example, our question is about how you can have gas pressure in the first place. How did you get the gas for this example to be at pressure in the first instance? How did you achieve the gas pressure to then start blowing it? Was there a container involved, perchance?
No.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, can you demonstrate that that's possible? Can you demonstrate gas pressure without a container, please?
I just did.
No, you demonstrated pre-existing gas pressure, which we're asking you to show without containment, and then you plugged the fan in. No, you already had gas pressure in your example before you came along with the fan, and we're asking how is that possible without containment? Maybe you'd like to point at your fundy belief in a sky vacuum again and say, well, the gas that's already here doesn't have containment. Yeah, that's what we're asking about. How is that possible, my friend? Without the container, there can't be any pressure. When we got to this stage last time, you then gave me an example that had a container in it.
This one also had a container in it.
There's an atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure different from the gas pressure. Which
Right, I also pulled this apart. Did you not listen when I pulled this apart the first time? The air sphere law, oxymoron, air sphere law, didn't you listen? There was a lot of short pauses then when you didn't acknowledge a single word I said either. So, do I need to go through it a second time? Are you mentally retarded or deaf? I have already gone through this. Did I need to speak slower when I detailed the oxymoron of an atmo, that's air, sphere, that's a shape, and your fundy religious belief, and not something that gas has inherently? It takes the shape of its container. Yeah, stutter for me, you fundy bitch. That's right. So we've already covered your air, sphere, oxymoron law, haven't we?
You're not
You
getting.
stuttering bitch. Yeah, we've covered this, my friend. Not a short pause, an acknowledgement. Yeah, this is the second time I've pointed out that your oxymoron air sphere law, akin to your religious belief that we've got a sphere of air without containment, isn't proof of your fundy belief that the sky is a vacuum. We've already covered this. Maybe a short pause and a subject change. Or you could be a man and acknowledge that we've already covered this.
Did you listen to the own words that you just said? You said there's a containment. I agree with you. There is a containment.
Excellent. So the sky is not a vacuum then? Because if the sky was a vacuum, as opposed to us requiring the containment you're now conceding, the gas would fill the space. So the sky's not a vacuum for these rocks to come from, my friend.
It's not a vacuum. Space is a vacuum, yes.
No, space is not a vacuum. That's a violation of natural law. Say space is not a vacuum, it's a vacuum. That's literal doublespeak.
What, according to you...
Why are you asking me a question? Be a man. Concede the requirement for containment, debunking the assertion the sky is a space for the gas to fill. Be a man.
Okay, so vacuum...
Why are you asking me a question? I've asked you to be a man. I've made a conclusory statement based on your annihilation. Not move on. Be a man. Concede. Sky not a vacuum. Containment required. If vacuum, gas would fill it. Be a man.
Okay, listen. Vacuum do not suck. Okay?
Nobody fucking said they did!
What the fuck?
You stupid little twat. Yeah, is that what you're saying? Rocks come out of air are fucking planes? No. Nobody said they suck, you stupid shithead. Is that what we're saying?
And why I'm saying that area...
Yeah, I know what you're saying, you dumb fuck ignorant twat. Nobody's saying that vacuums suck. I've said it on multiple occasions. The gas would expand in all directions to fill the availability of vacuum. That's what gas does. Not suck. Why are you strawmanning us for the second time? So, are you not going to be a man with your little straw man about vacuums not sucking when no one said they did? No, the gas would fill the space if it was a vacuum. We require containment. We're still at the same exact stage with you being a total coward and not conceding like a man. Why are you being a complete coward? Why can't you concede like an actual man?
With Nathan Oakley. Okay, thank you, please. So, when you climb a mountain...
Why are you moving on?
For you to breathe.
What a coward.
It does. It does expand, but it doesn't expand in the...
No, we're going to take a few minutes to berate you. You are a coward. You are a complete scum coward. Be a man and concede.
Nathan, I'm not swearing.
Yeah, we don't care. You're a coward.
You are a coward. We've got to the point where your own argument's been used against you with the containment you claimed would prove we didn't need it. Now we're at that stage. Sky not a vacuum, containment required, antecedent for gas pressure. And I'm going to hold you here indefinitely. You're not going to weasel off into a different subject matter until you be a man and concede.
I'm not going to concede.
What, that the sky is a vacuum? So, even though it's been demonstrated beyond the constraints of natural law, you still want your fundy religious belief?
Space is vacuum. Sky is not vacuum. Sky...
So, you're just going to chant at me? That's chanting.
Chanting
Stop
now,
chocolate.
bro.
Chocolate! Please do not chant
Chanting.
at... Please don't chant at me.
Oh, that's...
Just give him mercy. Just have mercy on him, because he's really kind of slow.
Why are we going to appeal to his 18 years of
Why
age?
have I got to have mercy on him? Why? He's misrepresented us. He's put words in our mouth. He said, are you saying something nobody said? He strawmanned us with vacuum suck. The guy's a scumbag. Why shouldn't I hold him here indefinitely till he behaves like an actual man and concedes?
I'm with you, Nathan. I'm with you.
Yeah, I think this is a case of Hanlon's razor, though.
What's Hamlin's razor?
I don't attribute to malice what can be explained by complete and utter stupidity.
Okay, I'm more than happy to ridicule him for his abject stupidity, as we've done during the discussion.
Okay.
Kiwi, you're not getting
It sort of sounds to me like Spokane is his mentor. He's got the same type
Put
of
him on mute,
answers.
and then so we can take it off and then berate him again.
No, but there was somebody else that was trying to chime in with some nonsense.
Yeah.
Maybe he can.
Yeah, the one that said that you don't need a container for containment. Yeah, who was
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
Where is he? Come on out.
I muted him so he couldn't disrupt the conversation. I can't remember who it was now.
I see that people are learning from Sly.
I can't remember who it was. Sorry.
Good
Yeah,
job.
it's all good. He's got balls. He'll man up.
Well, no balls.
Is it just me or the ballers getting dumber by the day?
Yes.
No, just
Yes, it's just me or
Hey, we can hear you.
Oh, go on, Chikey.
Oh, Chikey, come to save the day.
Hello, Chikey.
Hello. Don't poison the well. Go ahead, Chikey.
To poison the well.
Every day's a new day here. Yes, don't poison the well.
Every day's a new day. That's a good one.
It's a sunshine day.
You want to say something, Chike?
Yes, to ever asked if it's only me getting more stupid or is it globals? I said, no, it's only you.
Oh, really? Do you have something to validate this?
New day from Chikey.
Can we test your intelligence, Chikey, is what they're asking. I don't mind giving you a quick intelligence test if you want to try.
Well, I don't know how he could see a strand of hair from 7 miles away. Good luck with that.
He's still here.
Just weighing up the options he's got.
So many options, right?
You would think he'd be very confident in his assertions.
You can move on to Ackenbuyers, Mr. Conservation of Momentum. He said the other day that the Coriolis effect was the conservation of momentum. We can move on to him. I promised I'd get back to him.
Okay.
He's still saying that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So Ackenbuyers, come off mute. Come on now.
Pioneers.
Come off mute. What's up, man?
Do you have the availability of the conservation of momentum?
What?
You said I said availability. That was a play on Chekhov before. He was saying availability. Mole Man caught it. I digress.
Can you cue in virus, please? Just cue in virus.
All right, I caught it too. Well, that was pretty funny, by the way. Okay, now the Ackenbuyers. You said the Coriolis effect was the conservation of momentum. My question is, which one are you talking about? First of all, conservation of momentum. You know, there's two, right?
What are they? Let me see if I heard of them.
What are they?
You don't know?
Hold on.
I'm not sure. I might have heard of them. I might not have.
Your claim.
You might have heard of them.
Your claim.
Come on, even I know them.
Hold on, virus. In the
What
chat,
is it?
To me personally.
What is it, Neil?
Hold on, just one
Sorry,
second.
Nathan.
Virus, you've told me personally that conservation of momentum is Coriolis effect. You've said those. That is a verbatim quote from you to me in the chat. So
Close enough, yeah.
Now, QE's question to you is which one? There's two. It's your claim.
And I want to know if I've heard them before. So why don't you tell me what they are?
Try once more.
How can you claim
just let me try
something you
once
don't
more,
know?
guys. Let me just try once more. Then I hand back to QE. Try really slowly. This is your claim. You need to tell us what you mean when you say conservation of momentum is Coriolis effect, end quote, a cum virus. Your claim, we're asking you to detail, not what do you say it is, and I'll decide if I agree with it. You don't seem to understand.
No, that's not what I was saying by saying that. What I was saying was, let me see if I've heard of those two that you're talking about. I'm not saying let me agree with you.
Let me try once more.
Oh my God.
Let me try once more. We're not talking about them, Virus. Do you understand that? Do you know who is talking about them, though? Do you know who is talking about that, though? Virus? Do you know who is talking about it, though? It's not us. It's you. So do you want to tell us, then?
You mentioned that there was two, so I want to know what the two are.
Well, you would know. You're making the claim, though, right? You would know.
He's still going to keep saying it.
You would know it's your claim. Do you not know? It's okay. I've misread the situation. I'm sorry, Bryce. I apologize.
He said it. He said it.
It's okay. Hold on. I've misread this completely. Virus doesn't know what he's claiming. Bad.
The conservation of angular momentum over a spinning body. That's what I think Coriolis is.
While there's rumpusing, he's tried to detail it while people are talking and laughing. Try again, Virus. Go ahead.
Said Coriolis is the conservation of angular momentum over a spinning body or a spinning surface.
Angular momentum. Really? Well, let's move on from there. What are the two types of angular momentum?
What the fuck, man? You lost me on that one, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. You lost me on that one.
What? What are you guys, I've got to do it again. Not he lost you. Virus. Guys, please.
Yeah, he lost me.
It's going to be really painful because now
one.
he's going to interrupt me as well. Virus.
I'm sorry.
Right. I'll try this again. It's about the 5th time. Not he's lost you. Right? Again, you have just detailed your claim to us, not the other way round. Following your summary of it being angular, you were asked a question. Now, at no stage does this become QE's claim. At any point will he have to justify any of this. He's asking you about your words and your claim. Now you've expanded on it. It's angular, right? Those were your words. I don't know why I'm having to remind you this.
You don't have to. You just chose to do that.
So we're all
now. My question to QE is: what are the other types of what are the two types of angular momentum? Because you lost me on that question.
Two types of angular momentum are angular and linear. Then you chose one, angular, and then I asked you, what are the two types of angular momentum? That's where we're at.
Yeah, and I said I don't know. You lost me on that question. What are they?
Oh wow, that's a problem. So your claim that Coriolis effect is angular momentum, you don't really know what that means, then.
Yeah.
Tell me the two types of angular momentum. I'm not good with terminology. Can you tell me the two types of angular momentum?
For you, man.
I just have to say, see, Chuck, I wonder who's validated now.
Yeah.
Got him.
Touche.
Nice.
You delayed enough.
Somebody explain the types of angular momentum.
Virus has got more to say. Everyone be quiet. Go ahead, Virus.
Can QE please explain the two types of angular momentum, please?
QE, let me just paraphrase that for him. So, QE, hold on. QE, can you explain his claim to him so he can understand his own claim, please?
Don't explain my claim. Explain the two types of angular momentum.
In your claim.
But your claim was...
Don't momentum,
bro. That's your claim.
My claim. Explain the types of angular momentum, please.
That is the
Virus, you're not getting how that's your claim, right? You're not getting that?
No, all of this.
Because you define Coriolis as the conservation of angular momentum, like you just said, right? So now he's asking you what
I didn't say that there were two types of angular momentum.
Yeah, but you are defining Coriolis as angular momentum. So therefore, you should know what angular momentum is. What you're doing is exampling
I
that
don't
you
know
don't.
that there were two types. So can you please?
So then you don't know your claim. That's what you just said. Thanks.
Bingo,
That's correct. Bingo. He doesn't know what he's claiming, but he needs us to tell him.
No, I don't need you to tell me what I'm claiming.
Now tell us what the two different types are I'm claiming.
This is great.
See, because the worst part is that if we tell you what types of angular momentum there are, right, then you're gonna come back next time and tell us Coriolis is angular momentum. But you've already displayed that you don't know what it is.
No, believe me, I'm not going to. So please explain.
Oh, you're not going. So you're never gonna say that again?
Of course he is. He'll say it tonight in the chat.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm gonna say
That's what I'm saying.
momentum, but
You know, he's had enough time to at least Google it by now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's what I thought it'd do.
That's a good point. As we had time to Google what the two different types are, virus. That would have been a smart move.
I don't want to Google
Why,
it.
why none of your globe boys helping you out, man? Nobody DM'd you, let you know, like.
No, you know what? They actually probably could, but I'm not looking at that. If they did, I would rather y'all explain it, please.
Will Chuck be able to answer?
You would rather us explain your claim?
No.
Yeah. Chocolate's on it.
Don't explain my claim. Explain angular momentum.
Was your claim Coriolis effect was angular momentum?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I don't need you to explain my claim. I don't.
We need you to explain it.
I don't care about the Coriolis. All I care about is the two types of angular momentum.
Coriolis was your claim.
You don't care about the Coriolis. That's what you're claiming angular momentum is, though.
Oh my god. Can y'all just please, like, for the love of God, please?
We can tell you, but you would have to concede that we have to now explain your claim to you.
You don't
and
have
then we
to
can
explain
end
my
this
claim. You don't have
punishment
to
right
explain
now.
nothing about Coriolis. Just explain the two types of angular momentum.
That's
Leave
not Coriolis.
Coriolis out of this.
That's not
Explain
Coriolis.
So explain your claim.
That's not Coriolis, though.
No, don't explain my claim. This has nothing to do with Coriolis. Explain the angular momentum.
Oh, it has nothing to do with Coriolis now. Oh, that's a shame because you said angular momentum was Coriolis.
Yeah, I thought
So
it
you-
was Coriolis.
Are you
Now it's got
debunking
nothing
yourself?
To do with it. What's going on? It either is or it isn't. Now you're saying it's nothing to do with it.
Right.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the explanation of the two types of angular momentum has nothing to do with Coriolis at this moment. It's
excellent.
Bingo.
Bingo bango. Next time you say Coriolis effect is angular momentum, do you need me to play this back to you?
It won't help.
That's cool. If you really want to, that's fine.
So
But
that's
can
cool.
you explain the two types of angular momentum, please?
Can you say it without any interruption? Just repeat what you just said, which was to say angular momentum has nothing to do with Coriolis effect. That was your last statement. Could you just repeat that?
My last statement was this conversation has nothing to do with Coriolis at the moment. It is just about the two types of angular momentum, not Coriolis.
Copy that.
So y'all don't need to explain the claim. Explain the two types of angular momentum.
Okay, and they've got nothing to do with Coriolis. Gotcha. Thank you.
I didn't say that.
I got
Yes.
that too.
What?
Come on, give him the explanation. Come on, guys.
No way! You've got to be
Come on.
joking. Don't give it him, Arwin.
No.
I will never
Virus?
forgive you.
Virus?
Don't
That's
give it
such
him.
a bummer.
Don't give it him. Don't give it him.
Virus.
Arwin,
Really?
terrorist sympathizer.
I'm asking
That's what he is.
nicely.
Arwen's a terrorist sympathizer.
He's already given you a concession. Now, come
Put
on.
him on the list, QE.
He's already on there. He's been on there for 4 years.
Virus.
Oh, he
I've
doesn't. He
asked
did, might not have heard
Virus.
that. Did you hear that through the rumblings, Virus? I don't think you caught that.
Yeah, they put me on a list of some kind of list. What kind of list?
You, Arwen.
You're not on the list.
You're on dumb shit list, but we don't really care about that one. We're talking about another list.
Oh, what list are y'all talking?
He didn't hear what Arwin said. that was the problem.
Come on, guys.
4 more hours.
we think Arwin might be a terrorist sympathizer.
What?
No,
but come on, guys. Seriously, he gave you concession. You basically put him on the spot, but he did it because he really wants to know.
Yeah.
So what is it? Come on.
Can't answer the question.
You don't see the problem with that, Arwen.
Yeah, we can't answer it,
If we
Arwin.
give
The
it to
reason
him,
we can't answer it because his question is directly contradictory. So what he's being asked about is his statement that Coriolis effect is angular momentum, and in his statement, it isn't. So how am I supposed to answer that, Arwin? Be reasonable.
Well, he's basically already dropped it. He's already conceded. He's already said, yeah, he just wants to separately know about this other thing that he's already conceded has nothing to do with Coriolis effect. He wants to know what that is because he's getting these messages a lot mixed up because there's other ballers out there that constantly claim this. So he just wants to know, so what is it then?
Fine, I'll help him out. Right, on your desktop, go to Google and type in what is conservation of angular momentum and see if it comes up with Coriolis effect. It won't.
If I type in Coriolis and angular momentum, it will come up. But I'm not looking for that. What I'm
I
looking
thought you just
for
said
is
it had nothing to do with the other.
What's he looking for? Just let him tell us what he wants.
Yeah, what I want, the two types.
The two types of angular momentum. That's what you want.
Why? Yeah,
Why?
QE said there were two. No, there were two types. Which one?
Yeah, but why? Why do you want it?
I want to know those two types.
Why? What for?
He's trying to test us. Google it.
For knowledge. Is this something I don't know that I want to know?
But for what purpose? You're missing my point. What's it for? What's it useful for?
Self-knowledge. It's just for knowledge. It's for learning something. I like to learn. This is learning something.
Let me break it down. If I say, look, just show me how to use the tape measure, and I go, what for? And I go, I just want to know how to use it. And I go, well, for what purpose? And I go, well, I want to cut a hole in this wall. You go, all right, I see. Well, you drag it out and you look at the numbers and then you match it up to what you want to cut. That's how you use a tape measure. And I'm saying, why do you want to know about conservation of angular momentum and the two different angular types? What's the use? What's the point?
Okay, so if you came to me and asked me about a tape measure, you wouldn't have to go through none of that because I would just show you how to use it. I wouldn't ask you what for.
I understand that, but this isn't a workshop for woodwork, right? We're in a debate about the nature of Earth, so obviously there's got to be a relevance to the topic.
Okay, and it seems like it is.
Says who?
So can you?
Oh, says who? Says who? Who says it's relevant, and how is it relevant?
Because the conversation was about what Coriolis is, which led to the conservation of angular momentum, which then led to QE talking about there are two different types. So I want to know those two different types.
Yeah, that's your claim. We know that. And we're saying, what's the relevance?
I'm not talking about the claim. I just want to know what the two momentum, the two angular momentums are.
Ah, I see.
I think a lot of people might want to know. You clear it up for your audience.
You claimed that you're a math major a couple days ago.
Yeah, I'm a science person. I'm a math major, not a science person. Science we're talking about.
Don't worry about his audience. They don't want to know.
So you just said math isn't science?
Hey, no, it's some smart people in your audience. If they don't know, they might want to know.
Fine, I'll agree to tell you if you'll agree to allow us or indulge us with our explanation of Coriolis effect and how it's debunked.
Hold on, say that last part one more time. How y'all explain Coriolis and how it's debunked?
Yeah, if you'll indulge us, maybe I won't even ask for a concession at the end. But if you'll indulge us, I'll ask QE to tell you the two different angular types, because I don't know.
So you probably curious too.
Not in the slightest. I'm curious what it might prove. I'm just curious what it might prove.
That was a perfect answer.
No, I am not in the slightest bit curious. I just want to know what it might prove.
So, what is it that you actually want me to do again? Say that for me one time. You want me to explain Coriolis the way y'all...
Allow me to correct your misapprehension about what Coriolis effect is and how it's not applied to an Earth that's claimed to spin. If you'll indulge me, I'll politely ask QE. I can't guarantee you'll say yes.
QE, are you going to say yes?
We'll see. Are you agreeable, QE? Will you tell him the answer?
So mean to him.
We're not being mean to him. He's just a numpty.
Yeah, but he's being a nice numpty.
Nice numpty.
I'm towing Arwin's line right now.
He's not asking you at least. He just wants to know.
Yeah, I agree.
Until
Arwin.
he's on chat.
I'm siding with you here, Arwin, in case you hadn't noticed.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So for his claim, let's go through it real quick. His claim is the conservation of momentum, his initial claim. The conservation of momentum is Coriolis. Now, number one, they're two different words, two different phrases, right? So they're not the same. That's a law of identity violation. Now, within the conservation of momentum, there are two types.
I'm curious. I'm sorry. Can I just say something real quick? Can I please say something real quick, QE?
What the hell's going on? Who's talking? Oh, it's Virus. Of course it is.
Yeah, it's me. It's me.
Dude.
That's why I'm asking QE.
Come on,
can I
dude.
please say something real quick?
No, you asked for an explanation. You're getting it. Shut up.
Exactly. Be quiet.
What's
You're going to
happening.
turn the other one on your side against you.
I can't believe this. I can't
Okay,
believe this happening.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just cleared the air to get you an explanation and answer that you've been asking for 10 minutes, and you're going to interrupt it. I can't believe this.
Is that a surprise?
Well, I at least want him to get what I said right. That's the reason I was interrupting.
We heard it 10 times. We definitely don't misunderstand you, Virus. We are not stupid or deaf. We know what you want.
And we know what you said. You said it in my chat the other day. You said it another number of times to Nathan. We already know that you said that the Coriolis effect is conservation of momentum. That's what you said. I seen you write it, right?
Or spinning.
Yes or no?
Yes, you have to add with it over a spinning surface.
Conservation of momentum is the Coriolis effect, is what you said. So, there are two types of momentum that are conserved. There's angular and linear momentum. And then I asked you what those types were. You didn't know. And then I said, well, give me the two types of those. You didn't know. I said angular and linear. Now, I said, which one are you talking about? You finally said angular. Well, there's two types of angular momentum. That's spin and orbital. However, the definition of angular momentum, listen closely, is a measure of an object's tendency to continue rotating. So, when we're looking at the Coriolis effect, we're not all that much concerned about the rotating Earth. We're concerned about the object leaving that rotating Earth. Because that object that leaving the rotating Earth isn't rotating. So the conservation of angular momentum has nothing whatsoever to do with the Coriolis effect. You're tracking, sunshine.
Beautiful.
Oh.
Rest in peace.
Okay, cool. I appreciate that explanation, QE. So I do stick with. But I do. I really do appreciate that. That explanation, QE. I really appreciate.
Right. So you're in a category error. So it's not angular momentum because the thing that's concerning angular momentum is the object's tendency to continue rotating. Like I said, we're concerned with the object leaving off that fairy tale spinning rotating object, not the rotating object itself. Follow?
Okay.
So
cool. Good. I still appreciate that explanation.
In Coriolis effect, Virus.
Right. So angular momentum would apply, for example, to a physical gyroscope. Right?
The spin of the gyro itself, yeah, you could apply it to the spinning gyro, yeah.
So angular momentum actually proved the Earth is stationary?
You could claim that, and people have with gyros, yes.
I wonder if what I read meant linear momentum.
No, you want to go down that road.
So
QE, let me run. What's up?
Just one sec, Virus. The point is, it's not Coriolis effect, because to have Coriolis effect, right? Just let me break this down for you. Please indulge me. If you're on a roundabout and you're looking at something that's not on the roundabout, the effect that you see is induced by you turning underneath it. Do you understand that?
Wow.
We lost your connection, Virus.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'll try once more.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, let me try once more. To have Coriolis deflection, to have 15 degrees drift, right? You've got to have a roundabout that's turning at that rate and see something not attached to the roundabout. Do you understand that that's how you have Coriolis effect? You turning under something that's not attached to your spinning reference frame. Do you understand that?
Yeah, basically, an object is moving straight. It appears to deviate because I am kind of moving. I'm moving, not the object. I mean,
Right.
the object is moving straight, but I'm the one that's going off to the side, which makes it seem like it's deviating.
Perfect. Exactly.
I get
exactly. But in my example, it doesn't have to be moving at all. So if it just so we remove that aspect for the example, if you're on a roundabout, a kid's roundabout in a playground, spinning around, but you're looking at a lamppost, yeah, that's got no direction at all. Would you agree?
Exactly.
Right. Now, would you also concede that as you spin underneath it, you can see it appear to be moving, drifting?
I mean, of course, maybe it's the way I'm looking at it. I don't see anything that's off the roundabout moving in person.
No, but from your position spinning on the roundabout, though, you would appreciate that as you rotate round the roundabout, you look at the lamppost seem to come towards you, and then as you pass it, it's past. You can't see it anymore at all, and then you go back around, and then you see it coming towards you again. You understand that, right? That's Coriolis effect. That's the drift.
I see what you're saying, but wouldn't that be more on the lines of the way the Earth and the sky spin?
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. I just need you to say yes. I understand that the lamppost concreted into the ground lamppost isn't actually moving. The effect is only induced because I'm turning underneath it.
It has to be moving in order
to
look like Coriolis.
No. So the lamppost is fixed into the ground, and yet as you rotate, it looks like it's coming towards you. It isn't really. It's concreted into the ground. It hasn't got legs. So it looks like it's coming towards you, and that bit that looks like it's coming towards you because you're turning, moving towards it. That's Coriolis effect. Doesn't need the lamppost to be moving for my example to make sense. The not actual drift is you moving towards it. Do you understand? It's fairly simple.
Okay. Can I give you an example of what
I'm giving you an example.
Coriolis?
I'm giving you one. So what, middle of my example? Maybe you should give me one? No. Maybe just say yes.
Okay. I understand your example.
Excellent. Now, no worries. Now I've got a question based on my example to you. So, the concreted into the ground lamppost isn't actually moving, but is demonstrating this Coriolis deflection, this drift, this not actual movement because we turn underneath it. Now can you explain to me what precisely is the lamppost retaining?
It's not moving.
So it's not retaining any fucking velocity then?
Yeah, that's because that's your example of Coriolis.
So not an example of retention of velocity of any description. The lamppost hasn't got any velocity to retain.
Exactly, it's not moving.
So it's not akin to your demonstration you made incorrectly over and over again that conservation of momentum is Coriolis effect. Because it's not. The drift we observe in the lamppost hasn't got any conserved momentum. But we still see drift. That's Coriolis effect, something totally different to conservation of momentum. Do you understand now?
Okay. Well, can I ask you a question?
No, you could just say, yes, I understand that I have declared, because I'm stupid, that conservation of momentum, something with a completely separate title and description, is Coriolis effect, when it is not, because the lamppost isn't conserving anything. I'd like you to just concede
in your example. In your example of Coriolis, that is exactly what's going on.
That is Coriolis. And there's no retention of angular velocity. I'd like you to concede that you were wrong.
Can I give you my example?
There isn't one. No, you just need to concede that the lamppost either needs to retain some angular velocity for it to appear to drift in Coriolis deviation, which is incorrect, or concede you're wrong.
Can I give you my example first? So that way you can see where I'm coming from.
I've just given you an example that you've not acknowledged. So what? Should I just listen to your example and completely ignore it and move on to a different example where we have no concession or acknowledgement of anything anybody says? That's totally unreasonable, given I've just taken the time to explain how incorrect you are about this lamppost retaining some sort of angular momentum, which it doesn't. I'd like you to concede that.
Well, how about I take my time to explain it to you and you don't have to concede it either?
Well, you'd be wrong.
That's even.
Your assertion involves the lamppost retaining angular velocity. And it doesn't.
My example does not.
So it doesn't have anything to do with angular momentum being retained then when detailing Coriolis. So your assertion that it does is wrong then.
My example doesn't even include a roundabout. So can I at least explain to you how I learned Coriolis?
God, I'm feeling really stupid for calling you a nice numpty now.
Yeah. So
I mean, I'm still being nice.
Yeah, you're being nice and stupid and unreasonable. Unreasonable. Just unreasonable more than anything. So we've taken you through the example step by step. You've conceded at every stage except the conclusory stage, which is where you say, yeah, I understand it now. I understand that the lamppost I declared retained angular momentum doesn't. It doesn't have anything to retain.
But
the effect is only induced from you turning underneath it. So the effect has nothing to do with the projectile retaining any sort of momentum. That's just incorrect. You're still yet to concede it.
Okay.
Instead, you want to move on to a different point and mutter through me.
No. I'm saying, but I told you I understood your example.
So then concede that you were wrong when you said that Coriolis effect is retention of velocity in some description. It isn't.
You at least hear me out.
Oh my God, dude, you already basically laid it out. Just say, yes, Nathan, I concede, I was wrong. I learned my mistake. Come on.
He wants to go to his example. I am not going to lie to y'all. I have more respect for y'all than that. I'm not just going to sit here and lie to you.
Oh my God, so you are really a funny skeleton. You basically
hold on.
your mistake and you still are doubling down on that mistake that you literally laid down and basically conceded. What kind of an idiot are you?
It's just that you're being slightly disingenuous, man, because the example that was laid out by Nathan, right, you conceded at every point, right, that it was experiencing Coriolis effect, right, with a lamppost that's not moving, that's not conserving any momentum, right?
Exactly. That's why I said I understand his example.
Okay, hold on.
With his,
so you just hold on, man. Virus, give me a second. You just conceded, you got Coriolis effect, you have no conservation of angular momentum. In that example, Coriolis effect is therefore nothing to do with angular momentum, right?
Not in that example. In my example, it would have been, but not in that example. I don't even use a roundabout.
But that debunks the claim that Coriolis effect is angular momentum. Do you not get that yet?
No, he doesn't. And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. Of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.